All right, guys, we are back in action. We are going to be watching the 2017 trial, the Zachary Adams trial. We're on day 7, part 2. We just got done watching Terry Britt's testimony from day 7. Our part 1 video on that is linked in the description. If you missed it, you might not need to watch it now to understand the next witnesses that are coming up, but definitely worth a watch. We also just got done earlier this morning. We did a stream on the post-conviction relief hearings and watched the full testimony of Paul Hagerman. That was a time. Very interesting questions and answers. Seeing a prosecutor on the witness stand. A mess all around, I would say. I would say like a 3 out of 10 performance for that testimony from Paul Hagerman, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys think if you watched it. We are going to be getting into this. We have a little bit left with this one clip from Law and Crime, and then there's like an hour and a half, another video. So this might be a shorter stream than our usual trial watch streams. We'll see what we get through. Big shout out here. I see Betsy, we got KP, J Money, Gigi, all coming over from the earlier stream we did this morning. Got Gwennon in here with the ghost. Mary coming over. Aaron coming over as well, who says, I'm seeing you guys for the first time today. Nancy Hauser, thank you so much for the super with the love and the fires. Big thank you, Nancy, who was also hanging out with us this morning. Gigi said she got a notification from YouTube for once, for this one, but not the earlier stream. I can't explain what YouTube does. I don't even know. Let's get into it, you guys. If you're in the chat, say hey. And yes, this is a new live, but it is the 2017 trial. So we have not yet done a stream where we have watched this testimony we're about to see. So it's new to me, and new to some of us in the chat, but it is a rewatch for many who watched the trial in 2017 when it was taking place. So let's make this bigger. And once we start playing, let me know if the volume is good.
All right, you can step in.
Goodbye to Terry Britt.
Let's take it, it really will be 15 this time, okay? 15. Right there. Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Be seated, state your name first and last, and spell it for the benefit of the court reporter.
Anthony Phoenix, Anthony Phoenix.
Proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, how are
You've come
you?
a long way to get here today, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to give us an exact address, but where are you living now?
Texas.
Living in Texas. What are you doing in Texas?
I weld.
And you're working quite a bit these days, aren't you?
Yes, sir. About 110 hours a week.
110 hours a week. So you're losing some cash being here with us today, right?
A little bit.
You have a girlfriend there in Texas too, right?
Yes.
How's she doing?
Good.
How old are you?
32.
32 years old. Things are going pretty well for you now, right?
Yes, sir.
Things haven't always gone this well for you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You used to live back in Decatur County at some point, right?
Yes.
Where in Decatur did you live?
A few places, but Parsons.
In Parsons.
Shout out to the trial and error
When was that?
podcast.
Was it around 2010, 11 in that area?
Yes, sir. I didn't move to Texas until 2016, last year.
Okay. So before that, were you pretty much a lifelong resident of that area? I'm calling Decatur County, but that general area?
That and the penitentiary.
That and the penitentiary. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about the problems you had in this area.
I had a drug problem.
Okay.
And no funds to help me with my drug problem, so crime was a recurring offense.
All right. So you got to steal stuff to get money to feed your drug habit?
Yes, sir.
And did you get arrested sometimes for those things, stealing things and drugs?
Yes, sir.
And you're on parole now, correct?
Yes, sir.
What are you on parole for now?
Promotion, manufacturing, and some theft charges.
Okay. Methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You You know, I always wanted Shane. Do you know Shane?
Yes.
Austin.
Yes, sir.
Did you know him pretty well?
Not too well.
You know Dylan? I'm sorry.
Not too well, but I knew him.
You know Dylan Adams?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Jason Autry?
Not too well, but I knew him.
Did y'all kind of run sort of in the same circles back then?
I ran with some people he ran with. We didn't necessarily run together, but
All right. Did you know Zach Adams?
I did.
You see Zach Adams in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out and tell us what he's wearing?
Gray suit.
For the record, are you referring to, well, I guess it's red, not one gray suit. For the record, the defendant. That's not gray, is it?
Did you know the Bobo family?
I did. My foster dad taught school with Miss Karen.
Did you know Holly Bobo? Or no of her?
Yes, not personally, but yes.
Do you remember on or about April the 13th,
Yes.
2011? Do you remember when Holly went missing?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when Holly went missing?
I was in jail.
Okay. What were you thinking when you were in jail when you heard she went missing?
Actually, the first word that came out of my mouth was, I wonder where Zach was.
Now, tell us a little bit about.
Now, for anyone in the bushes that isn't watching, when Anthony Phoenix gives his answer, he seems to dart straight at the defendant before looking back to the prosecutor.
In jail when you heard she went missing?
Actually, the first word that came out of my mouth was, I wonder where Zach was.
Now, tell us a little bit about what you and Zach used to do back in those days.
Get high.
You were getting high.
We used to get high, and whatever we could do to afford that.
Now, you said that you immediately wondered where Zach was when you heard Holly went missing, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when you got out of jail at some point, right?
Yes.
When was that, if you remember?
I'm not sure. I was doing it 11/29, so maybe, I don't know, maybe October.
Okay. When you got out in October, did you stay in Decatur County in that area?
I did.
Did you get back together with Zach?
I did.
Y'all kept hanging out.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember his demeanor whenever the subject, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the subject of Holly Bobo going missing, was that a pretty big
Yes.
event in Decatur County?
Yes.
And do you remember what his demeanor was whenever that would come up?
Yes. Sketchy.
Sketchy, what do you mean by sketchy?
Nervous. Well, for instance, I was over there one day, and it was quite a few of us over there, but somebody, I had,
Objection didn't have hearsay though.
You can't say what someone said to you. You can say what you did in response to something that was said to you.
okay, so I brought up the fact that Holly Bobo was mentioned, and Zach proceeded to clear the whole house out.
So, was this Zach's house?
Yes.
There were a lot of people over there?
Yes.
And somebody said something about the investigation, is that the way it went?
Yes.
And his reaction was what?
Clean the house out.
And including yourself?
Yes.
Now, you've indicated that do you know Karen Bobo, or do you know who she is? You said you know the Bobo family. Do you know specifically who Karen Bobo is?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember another time when you were talking to Zach, did he mention to you something about a meeting with Miss Bobo?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
He mentioned that he had met with Miss Karen and was real concerned whether or not she believed what he told him. And said he gave her a hug and asked did I think that meant that she believed him. And of course, you know, what I told him was, well, how the fuck would I know? I wasn't there. But he was real concerned with his innocence.
So he had met with Miss Bobo, and she was trying to sort of investigate the case. Was that your impression?
I mean, I don't know why he met with Miss Bobo.
Okay. But he was concerned that the hug, did he say that they hugged?
Yeah, when he left, he hugged her.
And he was worried if that had convinced her of his innocence,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
At this time, were you even aware if that meeting had actually taken place, or did you even know?
No, I wasn't aware of anything.
So Zach just offered that information to you.
Right.
Now, after that, and you've already indicated that you guys, you, Zach, you had a drug problem.
Right.
And y'all would drive around looking basically for money that sort of fueled the drug problem, correct?
Correct.
Was there a time when you were doing that you can recall after he mentioned Miss Bobo?
Yes, sir. The night before I went to jail, we were actually riding around. Whether or not we was looking for something to steal or just keeping our eyes open for something to get, I don't remember. But he made the comment about something along the lines of, let's rape this bitch. And I looked at him. Of course, I was turning the radio up. I was trying to get him to go pick these four-wheelers up that I had stolen. And I would turn the radio up every time I talked, and he would turn it down. And he made that comment, and I just looked at him. And I said, well, what's this got to do with what we're trying to do right now? And I turned the radio back up. He turned it back down, and just kept talking, and was like, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch. And and right then it kind of clicked to me, and I told him, well, I don't want to hear about it. And he said something in between that, but in the end, he made the comment that it sure was fun.
And did that shock you?
Did it shock me? No.
What?
So he said, and was there...
How does hearing something like that not shock you? He's going to say, because that's just how Zach was. But this is crazy. And again, I'm saying this I have the lens on where I'm watching these post-conviction proceedings. There's very strong, I think irrefutable alibi evidence. That's my perspective. I think actual innocence. I think Zachary is fully alibied by the availability, the now present day availability of the ATM surveillance, his recall before seeing that video that he knew that they backed into the ATM that day, the still image from the surveillance of Dylan Adams making a purchase at a nearby convenience shop, the bank transactions, all of that. I think it's airtight. Not even, it blows away the beyond reasonable doubt standard of innocence, and that's not the way the burden is supposed to work. But now watching this with that in hindsight, I have that lens. This guy doesn't seem credible to me. And then we're getting additional context here that we've heard he was incarcerated at the time of the abduction, but we don't have the details. But he was presently serving 11 out of 29, part of his sentence, at the time of this testimony in 2017. Reed McGinley, the judge in this trial, ends up nollying a bunch of his charges, pending charges, after this testimony. We talked about that in the stream we did this morning when we watched Paul Hagerman and talked about leniency, offers of leniency, and how leaving charges hanging until you complete your job testifying on the stand, and then all of a sudden charges are dropped or a plea is formalized, how that can be used as leverage, and prosecutors don't disclose those things to the defense. So the defense cannot properly cross-examine those types of witnesses when they're on the stand. A familiar example is Kenneth Copeland, Woody, in the YSL trial, when Max Sharp brought up this charge from an altercation he had while in custody that he still thought was hanging over his head, and that the district attorney let him think was hanging over his head through his testimony in the YSL trial. Didn't even know that they ended up null-processing it after the fact. While we're here, additional context from the Trial and Error podcast. Shout out to them. Link is in the description for all of their content. It says, here's an interesting tidbit. They brought Anthony Phoenix and Terry Britt in on May 17th, 2012, and held them together at Decatur County Jail overnight. It's what is going on? What is going on?
Any doubt, because At this point, you've already indicated he was paranoid whenever something about Holly Bobo would come up, right?
Yes.
And you've already indicated he was concerned whether or not he had convinced Miss Bobo
Yes.
of his innocence, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you're driving down the road, and he just comes out, let's rape this bitch, right?
Yes, sir.
And then he says, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, correct?
Yes.
And then he said something else that you don't remember exactly what that was?
No, sir.
And then he said it was fun. Is there any doubt in your mind, Mr. Phoenix, that he was talking about Holly Bobo when he said that?
None.
Thank you, Mr. Phoenix. No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Cross.
Hello, Mr. Finks. I'm Jennifer Thompson. I am Mr. Adams' attorney. Okay. Now, you gave some statements to the police regarding what Mr. Adams said, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. One of the statements that you gave was in March of 2014, March 1st.
Okay.
And another statement that you gave was March 5th of 2014. Does that
Okay.
sound about right?
Yes.
Okay. Both of those were after Mr. Adams had been arrested.
Yes.
Okay. Matter of fact, at one time you were fairly good friends with Mr. Adams, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. You spent some time at his house, even living at his house, didn't you?
I don't know about living, but I spent some time there.
You spent the night at his house,
Yes.
slept over.
Yes.
Okay. And also, you have a past conviction for theft. Theft over $1,000. You got a 2-year sentence on that, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am. I have all kinds of past convictions.
Okay. And I'd like to, at this time, pass this up. See, I'd like to pass this to you, see if this reflects the conviction you had.
Judge, I think he's admitting to his convictions.
Okay. Well, I'd like to go ahead and put that into evidence, Your Honor, that it's a certified copy of his conviction.
Not really admissible, he's not denying it.
He's just admitted it.
I know, Your Honor, but it's just a certified copy.
Why do you
For the
need
record.
to file a certified copy if he's admitted?
Well, it's for the record, Your Honor. Just trying to make
The record clearly established that he admitted a theft over $1,000 and 2-year sentence. Plus, he said, I've got all kinds of other convictions. It doesn't come in.
Ask about the other
May I
convictions.
have this marked for identification, Your Honor? And I'd like just to make it part of the record as a proffer, an offer of proof.
Sure. The exhibit 213 will not be passed to the jury.
And these times when you were around Mr. Adams, you'd also been using drugs, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you were using meth, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What other drugs were you using at the time?
Meth.
And you,
I mean, I really would have liked to see her start asking additional questions about the timeline of these other arrests, because even in Judge Creed McGinley's own words, he was arrested for this $1,000 theft and then all other kinds of convictions. Well, what are those other convictions? Because that's the importance. That's how we get to what type of pressure was looming over to you when you're giving these 2014 statements. What type of pressure might be looming over you now when you're giving this testimony? How do we explain what's the timeline of this weird invitation to "Are this be"? Was that statement uttered after the abduction? Before? Is it possible that he could have uttered this in the same time frame if you were incarcerated at a certain point in time? There's so many layers to piecing together this timeline and how it would align or not align with this witness's credibility. And relying on it would have been easy if it was able to come in and the jury could have had it back with them. But if the jury doesn't know why they should be looking at this, we still need some questions to figure out hey, why is this important? Why should we be curious about this thing? Why should we be questioning this?
You and Mr. Adams were meth buddies, weren't you?
Yes.
And Mr. Adams was a big talker when he'd get high on meth, wasn't he?
No.
He was not a big talker.
No.
Okay. And the times that he was saying these things, you of course were stoned too, weren't you?
Yes.
You were high.
Yes. Not stoned. High.
Okay. Is there a difference to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you say the time that somebody mentioned Holly Bobo, Mr. Adams, or times when people would mention Holly Bobo, Mr. Adams would get a funny look on his face. Can you describe that?
I didn't say anything about a funny look.
I thought you said he'd have a sketchy demeanor.
Right.
Okay. Can you describe what a sketchy demeanor means to you?
Paranoid.
Paranoid. So paranoid, what does that mean to you?
What's the definition?
Well, I'm asking you, what's your definition of paranoid?
Something to hide.
Okay, so how did he have a sketchy, paranoid demeanor? What were some of the things he would do? What were his physical actions?
Well, if we were having a good time, we wouldn't be. Like I said, there was 6, 7 of us at the house
Not 6, 7.
having a good time. Everybody got to leave now.
Okay, so at some point he just says, you know what, I'm done with the party, everybody out.
No, not at some point. At the point I mentioned Holly Bobo.
Okay, he says, everybody out of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything
well,
else?
No.
No? Okay. And when you say that you all were riding around together, and you're in your car, is that right? When he's talking about rape?
No. We're in his truck.
Okay, in his truck, and the music's on.
Yes.
Now, he never specifically said Holly Bobo, did he?
No.
Okay. And that's something that you've assumed he meant?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that at some point your name came up in this investigation as you being possibly involved.
Too bad I was locked up.
That's fortunate for you, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're aware that your name did come up as you being possibly involved?
No, but not something I would do, high or sober.
But I'm not asking about that. You knew that at different points, different people, rumors were that you had been involved.
No.
Hey,
No?
Holly.
No.
You weren't aware of those rumors?
No.
Okay. I can have a minute. Now, when you say Mr. Adams said something about rape, it was future tense. You're saying today, he said, let's rape this bitch. Is that right?
Yes.
So it was future tense, not past tense.
If that's what you want. I don't know. He said, let's rape this bitch. So whether it was future or past, I don't know.
Okay. And then when he said, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, it sure was fun, he didn't specifically say anything in that sentence about rape, did he?
No, not in that sense.
Okay.
I don't like this way of questioning. She affirms the statement, and I get what she's trying to do. It's, if we assume that he even said this thing, let's poke at the tense and the details that are either missing or included in these supposed statements. Her characterization, the way she questions, makes it seem like we're accepting these statements as true. A different approach could have been, and when that was said, what were you guys doing? Were you looking at him when he said it? Ask a bunch of questions to see if he starts fumbling his answers. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it makes it solidify that that's actually what was said. And even though questions from attorneys aren't supposed to be evidence, People perceive what attorneys say in their questions as evidence all the time, even though they're not supposed to. Same things with motions. Arguments made on paper. People attribute the arguments being made on paper as if it's words out of the mouth, a confession from one of the parties that's filing the motion. So, also shout out to the Dolly Talk Raiders. Drop Dolly's link in the chat. It should also be in the description. If you guys like watching courts, he does court roulette. He jumps around from all different judges that you guys probably will either recognize some of them or grow to love. So always a good time over there. Make sure you check out Dolly. And I said, show him some love or some rage, whatever the case may be. Hit that like button for him when you watch his videos. Good to see you guys. We are watching a jailhouse witness.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And then she ends.
Okay.
She ends.
You come up here all the way from Texas to tell the truth today, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've told us about your background,
Yes.
but you're doing much better today, right?
Yes.
Is there any doubt in your mind when you're driving around with this man you've identified as Zach Adams, given the entire context of everything you knew about him, when he said, let's rape this bitch, then he said, I couldn't have picked a prettier bitch, it was fun, that he was talking about the rape and murder of Holly Bobo?
No, sir.
Nothing further, good.
So after he said that, Mr. Adams made those statements, you were so concerned and so convinced he meant Holly Bobo, you booted him out of, or you jumped out of the truck and you went straight to the police and told them about this, didn't you?
Do you have it on paper that I did?
What?
No, I didn't.
Okay. No further questions.
All right.
She thought that was a mic drop moment, and he didn't pick up what her point was. He took her question literally. But the problem with that question is we have not outlined that there are charges looming over his head right now. You just had the prosecutor get up there and bolster him by saying, you wanted to tell the truth so badly. Just like Wally in the A$AP Rocky trial, who flew from Europe to testify for Rocky's team. So compelled to get the truth out. You came all the way from Texas to testify today. Testify truthfully. She could have gotten up there and gotten into the charges looming over his head. And the context here, where is it? I pinned it because I figured we might need to reference it again. So, Trial and Error podcast, apparently some of these charges that are sitting over his head while he's delivering this very testimony end up getting null-prossed after he delivers his testimony. And yet the jury doesn't hear any of it. We don't get any of these questions. Anyway.
Done?
Yes, sir.
You can step down. Please don't discuss the testimony you've given in the court.
Yes, sir.
You're excused. Call your next.
One more. Jamie Darnell, state call Jamie Darnell.
Oh. Maybe Darnell would be interesting.
Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Be seated in the chair. State your first and last name and spelling for the court reporter, please.
Jamie Darnell, Jamie-Darnell.
So I know you're going to need to speak into that because you're kind of soft-spoken, so speak directly into that microphone, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Darnell, I'm not going to ask you where you live, but what area do you live in?
North end of the county. North end of Decatur County.
Northern Decatur County?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived in Northern Decatur County?
Pretty much my whole life.
Do you know a man named Zachary Adams?
Yes, sir.
You see Mr. Adams in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Point him out, please. You don't say that's a record of
For the record, you can do it.
How long have you known Mr. Adams?
Pretty much his whole life. When he was about 5, he started riding the bus, same school bus I did.
You rode the same school bus as
Yes,
he
sir.
did? You familiar with the case that has been known as the Holly Bobo case from April of 2011?
Yes, sir.
You know that because you live in Decatur County?
Yes, sir.
Fair to say that was big news in Decatur County.
Yes, sir, it was.
Did you know Miss Holly Bobo?
No, sir.
You know any of her family?
Miss Bobo taught 4th grade.
Miss Karen Bobo?
Yes, sir.
Being a school teacher?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take it to July 2012. Did you own or have a home in Decatur County?
Yes, sir. Yellow Springs Road.
And did Mr. Zach Adams come to your house in July of 2012?
Yes, sir.
Tell this jury what happened in July of 2012 when Zach Adams came to your house.
He came over to the house one night and it was, he was feeling pretty good, you know, and he wanted to go to the bathroom and share some drugs with me. We went to the bathroom.
If you said he was feeling pretty good, what do you mean by that? What did you observe about him that night, Mr. Darnell?
It seemed like he was just wound up, like he had, you know, energetic and stuff, you know, having a, he had, you
He was
know.
under the influence of drugs?
Yes, sir.
All right. You went into the bathroom?
Yes, sir. He approached me with a syringe, wanted to shoot me up with some meth, and I refused. I don't do the needle thing. Never have, and
Now, you used drugs, though. You did use drugs, correct?
yes, sir.
You're not proud of that, are you?
No, sir, not at all. Not at all.
Did you do methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
You didn't do it with a needle, though, did you?
No, sir.
You don't like needle dope, do you?
No, sir.
Is that what Mr. Adams wanted to do that night?
Yes, sir.
All right, I interrupted you. Go ahead about what's going on that bathroom.
Well, he wanted, you know, wanted to do that, and you know, I was trying to get it the other way, any other way than the needle. He it seemed like he got agitated, kind of upset him a little bit.
Mr. Adams got agitated and upset?
Yes, sir.
Speak up, Mr. Darnell.
I'm sorry.
Look at the jury. Speaking of that microphone, okay?
Yeah, it seemed like he got upset and kind of bothered over it, like you know, like he was offended or something.
Did you think he was mad at you because you wouldn't do needle dope with him?
Yes, sir. Seemed like it was. Seemed like it was, you know, bothering him. He showed
You
me.
do the needle dope.
No, sir. He showed me a knife that he had, and I was kind of like intimidated by it or something, you know, trying to intimidate me with it. And I asked to look at it, and I was checking it out, and asked him how much he would take for it. And he told me that if I knew what that knife had done, that I'd probably be afraid to hold the knife. And I was like, is it involved what I think it is? And he just smiled, and I gave it back to him.
What were you talking about? The Holly Bobo case?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't get that knife?
No, sir. No, sir. I gave it back immediately. We proceeded outside the bathroom. As we walked out of the bathroom, my girlfriend at the time was sitting on the couch watching TV, facing the open door. It was hot, you know.
Open door, is that the front door?
The front door, yes, sir. Yes, sir. The front door. And I didn't even know how to pistol with him. He pulled the pistol out and shot it right over top of her head out the front door.
All right, let me pause to read some of this awesome context coming from Trial and Error podcast, especially you guys get like early access in the chat before I pause to read it, but I think YouTube is censoring it because firearms were mentioned. So first, Jamie Darnell was married at the time to Danielle Darnell, sister of Carl Stateler, who also testified and was dating and living with Victor Dinsmore's daughter. All these witnesses connect to Dinsmore. And then Jamie Darnell is the one who supposedly heard that there was a quote-unquote body on the .357 turned .38, I love the way this is written, turned .32 revolver of Dinsmore's that they set up as the murder weapon that Jason Autry is able to point them to and say, hey, we've got this revolver that looks like the same one, even though it's really rusty today. So there's that. We also heard a little bit about Darnell when Vincent Dinsmore was on the stand. There was some discussion about Dinsmore selling him a house, and apparently Dinsmore didn't hold deed to that house that he sells to Darnell for $21,000. Just some odd things going on, Also, I dropped the link to Trial and Error podcast. I assume you guys have all checked them out already, but just in case you haven't, definitely well worth it. They fill in a ton of gaps on different pieces of this case. I think there's some hard to understand aspects, and they do a great job making it digestible. So go binge all of their content.
I took the gun from him.
Mr. Adams shot that gun
Yes, sir.
over the top of the girlfriend's head, out the front door.
Yes, sir. I mean, like a foot over top of her head. It was close.
Do you know he had a gun?
No, sir.
What happened after he shot the gun over your girlfriend's head out the front door?
I kind of pushed the gun down toward the floor and kind of the side door let outside was to his right, so I kind of pushed the gun down and walked him toward the door and told him, he couldn't be doing that and acting like that around in my house. He couldn't be doing stuff like that.
It scared you?
Yes, sir.
Surprised you?
Yes, sir.
What was Mr. Adams, what was his emotional state while he had this condition he was in that you described, and after he had shot that gun over your girlfriend's head out the front door?
Well, after he did that, as soon as he made the exit of the house, he broke down and started crying. He took the gun from him, and he was crying. He was apologetic, and he immediately started apologizing for what he was doing.
When he was crying and apologetic for what he was doing, where were you all standing?
We were standing on the west side of the house at the time, on the other side door.
Outside?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why he was crying?
And he just had having a breakdown, like he was, finally at wit's end or something. I really couldn't tell. Kind of remorseful, I guess it was, for what he'd done, toward the gunshot and everything.
What did you tell him that night after that gunshot about the things?
I told him that I couldn't have him come back around to the house like that, acting like that. I got my kids coming over and stuff, and I didn't want any kind of trouble. I didn't want stuff like that happening over the house. I tried to handle it with kid gloves the best that I could. He has a reputation of the guy you don't want to make mad at you. So you kind of can't be forceful to running somebody like that off your house. So I kind of pampered it the best I could. I told him that until he cleared his name of everything, of all the accusations and everything, he wasn't welcome back home or back at my house. He said that.
So, let me make sure I understand. You've got to speak up.
I'm sorry.
You're kind of nervous. You're nervous, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
You're also shy.
Yes, sir.
He was crying.
You smell something?
We do too. Like they turn the heat on.
The heat?
I thought it smells like that back here. That's not what this heat is on. I smell it, you smell it.
I smell it. What's going on?
You guys know that first, especially if you don't live in Florida like I do, but that first hint of winter when you turn the heat on for the first time and it has that "we haven't used this in a year" smell. I guess someone turned on the heat in this hot courtroom. So it looks like they're going to end this clip and then we'll carry over to when they fired back up Law and Crimes Part 2.
It's the heat. I think it's back on. No?
We take a
You want to get Mr. Darnell, the witness, back in here? I've already addressed that. Kind of mumbled and soft. I've told the attorneys that they can get it up. And I'll go ahead and tell him too. You speak softly and you kind of mumble a little, so try as best you can to raise your voice and talk clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right, thank you. You were placed under oath, and then we had to take early lunch because of our heating and cooling problems. So they're going to now continue with your direct examination.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Darnell, as the judge just said, I talk fast, you talk fast. That's not a good combination.
No, sir.
And it's important for you to look up, speak in that microphone, and speak to the jury. I also want you to understand this lady sitting here in front of you, our court reporter, it's important for her to hear you. So don't mumble, don't nod, just answer the question.
Yes, sir.
You got any questions for me? You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, before we went to lunch, it got awfully hot in here,
Yes, sir.
and it got distracting because when the heat came on. But it's a lot cooler now. I think we're all in better shape. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
And you've had some illness problems. You were you've taken care of that today, right?
I believe I got it under control.
All right, you ready to go? You feel
Yes, sir.
good? All right, let's go back just a little bit. You and Mr. Adams came out of that bathroom at your house, and he shot the gun over your girlfriend's head out the front door.
Yes, sir.
Now tell the jury, slow and don't mumble, what happened after he shot that gun.
Well, I pushed the gun down toward the ground.
Talk slow.
I pushed the gun toward the ground and kind of pushed him in the same motion toward the exit, toward the side door to outside, and asked him what was going on, what was he thinking, and he broke down and started crying. And he was apologetic, all the way over shooting the gun. And I told him I couldn't have him coming back around the house, acting like that and behaving like that. My kids and stuff coming in and out. And
I can't hear you, Mr. Darnell.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, just speak up, and that microphone will pick it up, so get a little closer to it.
And he was apologetic, of everything that what just happened. He took and I told him I couldn't have him coming back over to my house, behaving like that with the kids and everything. And
Just repeat.
I told him that he's more welcome to come back after he cleared his name of everything that was going on and everything he was being accused of.
Did he just change his story? So before this heat thing goes crazy, he's like, because of this incident where Zach Adams purportedly fires a shot in my household, like a foot above my head, while my girlfriend's there, there's this issue going on. We have this internal dispute that has nothing to do with Holly Bobo. It's just 404B evidence that could suggest Zach Adams is unpredictable. He's volatile. I tell him because of that incident, he can't come back to my house. We resume after this hot heat thing. I repeat twice here. I'm telling him I can't have you over at this house. My kids are here. That was scary. I don't want you here. In a bubble, all relating to this other incident unrelated to Holly Bobo. And now he's adjusting it to say, until you clear your name with all of this stuff that's going on, supposedly in relation to Holly Bobo. How do those two reasons jive? Do you mysteriously start letting Zach come back over? You forgive him for this first reason that you started to explain is the reason that you kept him out of your house? And you just jump to a different point in time where he's been in your house again, and now you're suddenly saying, you know what, never mind, you gotta go again because of this Holly Bobo investigation, it's too much. He switches his story here on the stand. Let's watch again.
And asked him what was going on, what was he thinking, and he broke down and started crying. And he was apologetic, all the way over shooting the gun. And I told him I couldn't have him coming back around the house, acting like that and behaving like that. My kids and stuff coming in and out. And
I can't hear you, Mr. Darnell.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, just speak up, and that microphone will pick it up, so get a little closer to it.
And he was apologetic, of everything that what just happened. He took and I told him I couldn't have him coming back over to my house, behaving like that with the kids and everything. And I told him that he's more welcome to come back after he cleared his name of everything that was going on and everything he was being accused of, in the neighborhood and the community and whatnot.
You told him he needed to clear his name.
Yes, sir.
What did you mean when you told him he needed to clear his name?
Of the rumors and that were going around of, whether the speculations of a Bobo case, of everything that was going on. It was a hot topic at the time around the area.
You told him he needed to clear his name about his involvement in the Holly Bobo
Yes, sir.
kidnapping, rape, and murder.
Yes, sir.
What did Mr. Adams say after you told him he needed to clear his name?
He said that he couldn't do that. He was too far involved into it, and there was no way he could do that. That he,
Did he tell you he knew what had happened to Ms. Bobo?
no, sir, not that I can recollect.
He told you he was too deep into it.
Yes, sir.
Did he talk about his drug use?
He showed me the drag marks, I think they call it, on his arm where he'd been. He said this is what meth and morphine does to you, and he had bruises all over his arms and stuff where he'd been shooting it up.
You said drag mark?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
It's like bruises. It's like spots, you know.
The jury, where on your arms he was pointing on his arms? What you saw?
The bend of his elbow on the inside of his arm. Yes, sir, on the inside of his arm.
Place?
Bend of his elbow and stuff.
That's the scratches and circles.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Did he tell you what it made him do? How it made him act?
But I could tell by the way he was acting that night in particular that it wasn't a good combination. It wasn't good for anybody. I mean, he was acting really crazy.
Mr. Darnell, was there any question in your mind that what you all were talking about that night was Mr. Adams' involvement in the Holly Bobo case?
Could you elaborate, please?
You understood you all were talking about the Holly Bobo?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever have anything to do with Mr. Adams after that night? He wanted you to do needle dope and shot that gun out your house?
Not that I can recollect. I think he honored my wish by not coming back around. Best I can remember, he didn't. Maybe it's something in the past, and see him at the gas station or something. But as far as coming back over, I don't think he did.
No more socializing?
No, sir.
Mr. Darnell, you've had a little trouble in the past with the law, right?
Yes, sir.
Aggravated burglary convictions,
Yes, sir.
misdemeanor convictions,
Yes, sir.
and aggravated burglary was when you were how old?
18,
How old are you now?
30, 40, turned 40 last Monday.
40?
Yes, sir.
And that felony was 22 years ago.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's wrong.
Now, Mr. Darnell, you remember speaking with one of my investigators, or two of my investigators, Amber Treat and Sarah Dunsing, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
One of them, the woman over there,
Yes, ma'am.
and that was at your home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That was June the 26th of this year?
Around about, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at that time, you remember specifically telling them that you were not testifying solely for, not simply to do the right thing, that you were also interested in the reward, didn't you?
I told him that I wasn't like everyone else and saying that I wasn't interested in the money because, who wouldn't be,
Right? And you told her that the state would divide the money up amongst the people that testified against Mr. Adams.
No, ma'am, I told him that what the word that I heard from people going to the community, it's a small neighborhood, everyone talks, and that's what, the word is, that we're going to split it up, 100, 200 people or whatever.
He sounds like he suddenly has marbles in his mouth. To me.
But amongst those people that helped convict Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the first time you've talked to the police on several occasions in this case, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am.
First time you spoke to the police was on March the 1st, 2014, after Mr. Adams was arrested, wasn't it?
I guess I couldn't tell you the exact date, ma'am.
Around then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you spoke to them again April the 11th of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you spoke to them a third time, which was September the 29th of 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, all of those times when you told your story, you did not mention that your girlfriend was standing in the doorway when Mr. Adams shot the gun, did you?
She was sitting at the couch.
Okay, so you didn't mention your girlfriend was near the gunshot the first 3 times you told the story, did you?
I didn't change the story none, so.
That's not
And I didn't mean,
What kind of answer is that to this question? You give multiple statements. This part is included. I didn't change the story none, no.
She was sitting at the couch.
okay, so you didn't mention your girlfriend was near the gunshot the first 3 times you told the story, did you?
I didn't change the story none, so.
And I didn't mean to say the first 3 times you told the story. The 3 times you spoke to the police, you didn't mention that your girlfriend was in the direction of the bullet, did you?
I couldn't.
Okay. So that's a new fact that you added later on.
Oh, no, ma'am.
But
No, ma'am.
it became new to the police because they hadn't heard it before, right?
I couldn't tell you exactly how, what I told, what I said word for word the first time,
As a matter of fact, you gave a written statement in this case. And I guess somebody else wrote it up for you and you signed it.
Oh,
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I think I wrote one myself, too.
And you've had an opportunity to review that statement.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And you would agree with me that your girlfriend's not mentioned in that statement?
Not that I recall.
Okay. And you know Victor Dinsmore, don't you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And you would say Mr. Dinsmore is a dishonest person, wouldn't you?
Objection.
If he
I don't
knows.
believe it's relevant. I don't believe it's relevant.
One's opinion on someone else's credibility is appropriate.
It's 607, Your Honor. It has to do with impeachment and reputation and impunity for honesty, and this witness' personal knowledge about whether or not he's on 608, I'm sorry. It's evidence of character and conduct of a witness and specific instances of conduct and impeaching somebody based on somebody's opinion for their honesty.
Third eye.
Okay. You know Mr. Dinsmore, Victor
ma'am.
Dinsmore, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would consider him a dishonest person, wouldn't you?
Certain aspects of his life, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, he stole some money from you, didn't he?
In a roundabout way, yes, ma'am.
Did he sell you a house he did not own?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how much money did you pay him for that house?
Right at $21,000.
Okay. And turned out he didn't own it to sell it to you, did he?
No, ma'am.
And at one point, Mr. Dinsmore tried to rape your ex-wife, didn't he?
I found out yesterday, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
found out yesterday.
So you would trust Mr.
Yesterday, yes.
Mr. Dinsmore tried to rape your ex-wife, didn't he?
I found out yesterday, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you would trust Mr. Dinsmore, would you?
No, ma'am.
As a matter of fact, you look somewhat mad. Do you dislike Mr. Dinsmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting mad right now?
No, ma'am. Nervous.
Nervous. Okay,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry. Don't be nervous. Now, after, let's see. Specifically, when you're saying that you told Zach to clear up his name, you were clear with the investigators that you did not mention the name Holly Bobo to Zach when you told him that, did you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you just said you need to clear up your name and everything that's being said about you, didn't you?
Clear your name of what's going on.
And Zach simply replied he couldn't clear up his name, he was in too deep.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is right after he's shot the gun in your house, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would agree with me that he was high at the time he was shooting the gun?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, he'd been using meth and other drugs.
Presumably, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
I think he was. He didn't, he didn't do that in front of me, so,
Okay. But he was certainly, strike that. So, and when he responded to you, he did not specifically say Holly Bobo's name, did he?
No, ma'am.
You assumed that you both knew what you were talking about, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions.
You assumed he knew because that would be news in that county.
Yes, sir. That's the only topic going around. I mean, that was,
And you thought he was involved.
yes, sir.
And that's why you told him to clear his name.
Yes, sir.
And he couldn't do it because he was in too deep.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, step down, you're free to go. Please don't discuss any testimony given in court.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're next.
Carl Stateler.
It's gonna be Nichols. I'm still lost on the you found out yesterday thing.
Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I swear.
I want you to sit down and state your first and last name for the record and spell it for the court reporter, please.
Carl Stateler, Carlstateler.
Spell last name again.
Stateler.
Okay.
Now proceed.
You may.
Mr. Stateler, I want you to direct your answers to the jury, but keep your mouth, keep your voice up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll pull it up as you're kind of tall. Where do you live?
Parsons, Tennessee.
Okay. Speak up.
Parsons, Tennessee.
There you go.
Sorry about
I
that.
can hear you. Did you grow up around there?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
28.
You know a person by the name of Zach Adams?
Yes, ma'am.
You see him in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out, please?
For the record, the defendant.
You know a person by the name of Shane Austin?
Yes, ma'am.
And where's Shane Austin?
Dead from what I hear.
What about Dylan Adams?
Incarcerated. Yeah.
So you know all of those individuals. What about a guy named Jason Autry?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to take your attention back to 2011. Are you the same person today that you were then?
No, ma'am.
Are you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been working for several years?
Yes, ma'am.
Stable?
Yes, ma'am.
Back in the day, were you, I guess, not living the same life you're living now?
Yes, ma'am.
During that time, is that when you knew Zach Adams and Shane Austin?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me just ask you, were you sort of involved with the drug culture back then?
Yeah, I was just kind of raised up in the area, and that's all I ever know until I had enough sense to get myself out of it.
And you moved to Nashville?
Yes, ma'am.
Because other witnesses have been asked, I want to ask you the same thing. Do you have any felonies?
No, ma'am.
Despite not having any felony convictions, you have some misdemeanors?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So back in 2011, you said you knew Zach Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember hearing that a young lady by the name of Holly Bobo from Parsons had come up missing?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that big news in your town?
No.
Was not big news?
I mean, it's just another person that come up missing around there, you know.
Was it on the television?
Yes.
And did you personally know anything about that?
No.
Okay, did you know her?
No.
Did you know her family?
No.
Didn't know Karen Bobo, Clint Bobo, Holly's brother, Dana Bobo, her father?
No, ma'am.
Back in 2011, where did you live? Remember?
Yep, with Victor Dinsmore.
And that was off of Yellow Springs Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Believe you were dating his daughter, maybe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the jury has seen a picture, an aerial of the Dinsmore house and the big shop, I guess, that was out there. Did you live there on a permanent basis, or were you sort of coming and going?
Coming and going.
Now, did you have occasion after Holly was reported as missing to ever have a discussion with Zach Adams about that?
Will you repeat the question?
Okay? It was kind of, probably not an easy question. The summer after Holly went missing, she went missing in April, so the summer after that, do you recall a time when you were riding around in Zach's truck with him?
Yes.
Okay. And did he make a statement to you about what you believed to be Holly Bobo and her disappearance?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you tell the jury what he said?
He said I let Shane hit it.
Said what?
I let Shane hit it.
And what did you take that to mean?
The only thing that it could mean, as far as I knew Zach Adams was concerned, and the Holly Bobo disappearance.
What did the word, and you may not want to say, but what did...
Rape.
Rape. Right. Did you ask him any questions about it?
No, ma'am.
Did you want to know about it?
No, ma'am.
In addition, and that was the summer after
Yes.
Holly came missing?
Yes.
Or during the summer, I guess. Did you also have an occasion to be at a bar with him on a different day when he made certain statements?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was this bar located?
Johnny's Bar and Grill in Parsons, Tennessee.
Okay, and where in Parsons is Johnny's Bar and Grill?
It is about halfway down towards the interstate, towards Cherokee Heights, Woodland Shores area.
Okay. And I know you don't know the date, but you believe this to be that same, the end of that same summer?
Yes, ma'am.
And what, if anything, did Zach say to you regarding Holly Bobo?
What did he say to me?
Or say to somebody else that you overheard?
He said, I'll kill you like I did Holly Bobo,
And who did he say that to?
the bartender.
And was that bartender a male or a female?
Female,
What was her name?
Misty Tubbs.
I let Shane hit it. I'll do you like I did Holly Bobo. Did he make one more statement to you about Holly Bobo? And who was
Yes.
And who was responsible? What did he say to you?
He said, I did it.
Where were you when he said, I did it? Was that also at that same bar?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask him any questions?
No, ma'am.
Did you want to know about it?
No, ma'am.
And until law enforcement came and talked to you and did you ever report it?
Yes.
Who did you report it to?
The TBI.
And when they asked you, you told them what you knew?
Yes, ma'am.
One moment. I don't have anything else, Mr. Stateler. Thank you. The defense may have questions.
Cross-examination.
Now, Mr. Stateler, the first time the TBI came to talk to you about possible information regarding Zach Adams, you denied knowing anything, didn't you?
I don't recall that.
The first time they came to interview you, you denied knowing anything about Holly Bobo and who was responsible?
I don't recall that.
So that's a memory that you don't have now, is that correct?
It's been a long time, but yes.
Okay. And so, then you say when you were driving around, Mr. Adams said, "I let Shane hit it."
Yes, ma'am.
And you assume what he meant was that he allowed Shane to rape Holly Bobo?
Yes, ma'am, I assume.
Okay, but you didn't ask any follow-up questions?
No.
Okay. And then you heard him say at a bar to Misty Tubbs, "I'll do you like I did Holly Bobo"?
Yes, ma'am.
But in the past, didn't you specifically say, you heard him say, "I'll do you like Holly Bobo"?
What bastard are you referring to? The night at the bar?
Before, when you've repeated that statement, wasn't it slightly different in that you said, Zach Adams said, "I'll do you like Holly Bobo," instead of "I'll do you like I did"?
I don't remember the specifics. I just remember him telling the bartender that night that he would kill her like he did Holly Bobo.
But he didn't say kill, he said, "I'll do you."
I'm not sure the exact words, but it was serious enough to,
Okay, but it's possible.
Wait, I'm sorry, Your Honor, he's still talking. She
I
cannot.
think he finished. He
Cut
said it was serious.
This is the same problem with the last witness. So we have these statements that sound really, really bad. Why would these people make these statements up? Why would they say Zach was saying these heinous things? And the defense's job, they should be poking holes in the credibility of these witnesses and whether or not their recollection of these statements is reliable and credible. And the way she's asking these questions almost just flat out affirms that something to the effect was said, and we're mincing words, we're pinching hairs, splitting hairs about if certain phrases were included or not, rather than just challenging the reliability. And here, this is a great place to ask, get to the overlying theme. These witnesses are coming up and they're repeating the very same details, very particular details. But it's only after they're having conversations, it's like their fourth or fifth statement with somebody from TBI, or it's after they've had access to discovery, or it's after they've been having conversations with someone that had access to discovery. So you live with Mr. Dinsmore, correct? Did you and Dinsmore have conversations about what was going on? And it would be a great opportunity if Jennifer Thompson had crossed Dinsmore on these recorded calls when Brent Booth and Dennis Benjamin go and speak to Dinsmore and his story evolves over time. It'd be a great opportunity to cross. And then if you do that successfully with Dinsmore and then with Autry, because remember, Autry has a different recollection of this exchange where the pickup truck pulls up to Dinsmore's property. According to Dinsmore, they're trying to get their money together to buy a joint. Right? They're just buying a joint, and that makes the who's going to hit it first argument make sense about who's going to get the first hit of the drug that they've been looking for all morning. Jason Autry, who has access to this discovery, takes that detail and makes it seem like that argument when they get there is over who's going to hit the body that he didn't know was Holly. He didn't know anything about what was going on with the thing in the trunk. But he heard this argument and knew it was about this thing he knew nothing about in the trunk. And now we have this other witness that's corroborating it. So underscore those questions. Get to that line of questioning about how else you possibly could have gotten fixated on this detail, rather than just repeating that something was said and you're getting one word wrong. So, And shout out to Dana McClendon, the Honorable Dana McClendon in the chat. Good to have you here. And yeah, I can tell that you guys are very, very knowledgeable. You guys are helping us understand the nuances. So shout out to Dana in the chat.
Enough was his statement.
Okay, I couldn't hear that.
And then, on one more occasion, you heard him say, "I did it," when you were at the same bar.
Yes.
And you took that to mean that he was confessing that he had killed Holly Bobo. Or was
Yes.
involved. I don't mean to talk over you, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. But you didn't ask any follow-up questions
No,
regarding
ma'am.
No further questions?
Yes, Ms. Thompson asked whether or not you denied having information. Actually, the first time TBI came to you was on December the 8th, 2011. I don't suppose you remember that day?
No, not specifically, no, ma'am.
Okay. But on that day, in addition to the things you testified to, did you also provide them with additional information about Zach Adams regarding his drug usage in the immediate days following Holly's disappearance?
Will you repeat the question, please?
Okay. Did you also tell TBI about Zach Adams' drug usage right after Holly Bobo came up missing?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you told them back in 2011.
I said that he had been high out of his mind for days or weeks, just out of his, too high to function.
And that was in the days and weeks following?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's also the same interview that you told them that he blurted out, "I let Shane hit it"?
Yes, ma'am.
It's also the same interview where you told them that at Johnny's bar in Decatur County, he became upset with Misty Tubbs and made the statement that he did about Holly.
Yes, ma'am.
During the time, now, they talked to you again several years later, and at that time, you indicated that Zach Adams was driving several different cars during that period of time, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know him to drive a white Nissan truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know him to drive occasionally, and that Jason Autry was driving a PT Cruiser,
Yes, ma'am.
and that Shane Austin was driving a Crown Victoria?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Now, you remember speaking to our investigators, two women that came to talk to you?
Yes.
You? And so you specifically told them, you described Zach Adams as being passive aggressive and liked to mess with people's heads.
Yes.
Didn't you? And so just a moment ago also you testified that Zach Adams, there was a point at which he was so high, he was using so many drugs that he was unable to really function.
Yes.
Okay.
Of
And
sound mind.
at the time he talked about letting Shane hit it, that was right during the middle of that time when he was so high he was having a hard time functioning.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions.
One more to follow up on that. You indicated that, and I left this out on purpose the first time, but Ms. Thompson asked about head games. Was he playing head games when he pulled guns on you multiple times?
Objection, Your Honor. It's outside the scope.
Oh. How is that outside the scope?
Let's just move on. All right, you can be excused, do not discuss your testimony with anyone.
Thank you.
Step down. Next, do we call
Corey Rivers.
truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Be seated. I want you to state your name first and last, and spell it for the court reporter.
Corey Rivers, COREYRIVERS.
And Mr. Rivers, I'm going to ask that you speak up. I'm actually going to adjust the microphone for you, because you're sort of soft-spoken, okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
and I want you to do your best to direct your answer so that all the jury can hear you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh,
no.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, lean forward. Where do you live, Mr. Rivers?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida. And how long have you lived there?
All my life.
You grew up there, family there?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you had this job?
For about a year.
And you drove up here the last couple of days to, at the state's request.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to draw your attention back to 2016 and ask if you found yourself in Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
How did you come to be in Tennessee in 2016?
Me and a couple of my friends was driving up here, and we was actually, I don't know, I think we was heading up north, and we was heading up north, and we got pulled over by Williamson County, and my other friends, they was tired of driving. We had drove from Florida, so I drove, but I didn't have any license, and so my homeboy said, well, you can use my license. So when we got pulled over, I used his license. Come to find out, his was suspended. So
Let me stop you here.
Not
When you see
driving
the blue
dirty double
lights,
time.
right?
yes, ma'am.
And before the police get up to your door, your friend passes you his license.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the license you presented,
Yes, ma'am.
all right? So what happened after that? And then he checks that license and
Yeah.
finds out that's suspended?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm like, oh my God. So I end up, by me being out of state, they told me that I have a bond of $1,000 to, but I would have to still go and turn myself in. So I didn't want to tell the police that, you know, this not me. I just paid the $1,000 and just got from up here. And I ended up going back down to Florida, and I guess I did a year. I had did a year down there because I was fighting something down there. So I did a year in the county down there. I got out, and I had a case up here because they had found out that it wasn't me. So I ended up taking a plea of 60 days and 2 years probation, which is what I'm doing now.
So you're on probation now?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So the 60 days that you got for using somebody else's identity,
Yes, ma'am.
where did you do your 60 days?
In Franklin, Tennessee, Williamson County.
County?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to ask you, and you were actually incarcerated for your 60 days last year,
Yes, ma'am.
like April through June,
Yes, ma'am.
somewhere around April 8th through June 9th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And while you were incarcerated in Williamson County, did you come to know or meet an individual by the name of Zachary Adams?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out?
Right there.
For the record.
Now, before you got here, before you got locked up on this driving charge, did you know anything about the case regarding Holly Bobo that happened in Decatur County, Tennessee?
No, ma'am.
Before you got locked up on your driving charge, did you know anything about an individual by the name of Zachary Adams?
No, ma'am.
What about Dylan Adams?
No, ma'am.
What about Shane Austin?
No, ma'am.
What about Jason Autry?
I still don't know who them people are. No, ma'am.
The man that you pointed out to a minute ago, Zachary Adams, how did you come to know him when you were locked up in Williamson County?
We was next door cellmates for 60 days.
Okay. Now, if you're next door cellmates, does that allow for opportunities for you to talk to one another?
Yes, ma'am.
How does that work?
We can talk through the vent, so we can talk through the door
And does that happen a lot?
every day. Yes, ma'am.
Just prior to your making the appointments of Zachary Adams, how were you spending some of your time of confinement? Doing what?
Either working out or reading my Bible or just reading.
I ask you some questions about reading your Bible. Do you know whether or not Zachary Adams saw you reading your Bible?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all actually have a conversation about that?
Yes, ma'am. A few times we did.
I want you to explain to the jury what he said, what you said, what he said.
No, he just used to walk by and he see me reading my Bible, and he asked me, about the forgiveness, like, would God ever forgive him? And, we just used to talk on a day-to-day basis, and I was like, yeah, God will forgive you no matter what, human people see you as. God will forgive you if you just be honest, whatever situation you're going through. And we just used to confine in like that.
Did he indicate whether or not he was interested? You said as long as you do what? Tell the truth?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Did he indicate to you at all what his intentions were?
No, ma'am.
Now, was this before or after you knew what he was charged with, or both, before and after?
We started talking that night. It's like when I first get in there and the person asks you, like, what are you in for? And, first couple of days you shy, don't really say too much. And I gave him the story while I was in there, and he kind of semi-told me that while he was in there, but I didn't know it was anything like this. So.
Did he tell you that he was charged with kidnapping, rape, and murder?
Yes, ma'am.
When you heard that news, well, just tell the jury how that conversation went.
Well, when I heard it, I still didn't kind of like give him no, I still didn't like stop talking to him because, everybody's been accused of similar situations like that. Should I elaborate on that?
Sure, you start.
My mom was like that. She was accused of murder when I was 4 years old. I had got molested. At the age of 4, I had to get 36 stitches. So, she came home from work and she seen my stepdad inside of me. So she killed him. And they sentenced my mom to life without parole. So, well, not knowing what defects behind it, but in the system, my stepdad's sister was the police officer, so that's why she got that much time. But she fought for me. I'm the only child, so my mom is out now. She only did 9 years, and you can't even tell she went in. So I didn't really like try to pass judgment against him because I'm not knowing the background of why he's accused of that. So I didn't.
So you just kept talking to him?
Yeah, I just kept talking to him like a normal person.
Did he tell you anything about what he was charged with? Did you ask him what happened?
Not at first, but I mean, as do day to day, weeks and weeks, we talking when he come out for his hour, I come out for his hour, we talking through when it's, nothing to do. He was elaborating of, I asked him what happened,
And you asked him what happened?
Yeah, I asked him what happened, and he really didn't go into much detail. He was just like, him and a couple of his friends got drunk, and they went.
Stop you here. Did he say a couple of his friends, or did he say a family member and another guy?
He didn't elaborate on that. He just said a couple of his friends that went into the, they got drunk and they went into the woods with this girl, and one thing led to another, and then he was like, I was there for the worst of it. And I was like, well, did you do it? And he was like, I was there for the worst of it, and he just left it like that. We never really got into detail about that. That's when the subject again got on about the forgiveness, and just be honest, and no matter what the outcome is, at least you right with God, so it just went on like that.
So he told you that he and a couple of his friends got drunk and did what? Got her in the woods?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, without giving you details, he told you he was there for the worst of it?
Yes, ma'am. He didn't go into detail.
He didn't tell you what the worst of it was?
No, ma'am.
I don't know. So I have questions about his unfortunate experience as a child, and if I had been through something like that, I feel like I might be particularly judgmental of somebody that was accused of such a thing that I'd experienced. And I'm not saying that would be a conscious thing. It could be totally subconscious. Secondly, the story that he's apparently relaying, he starts off by saying, Zach was describing what he was maintaining to just be his charges for something that he didn't actually do. And he's giving these descriptions. So do we know if these descriptions are me telling a personal story or me speculating, Zach speculating? And if I'm sitting there only half listening to what Zach's saying, I'm just picking up little details here and there. And now, present day, at the 2017 trial, I am taking these details and I'm fitting it to a mold. Because there's things that don't make sense. if this all happened, we take a girl to the woods, then this doesn't add up with the stories that we get from Dylan Adams and from Jason Autry. So how could what Zach is relaying to you be applicable to this story here? Oh, am I really quiet? I'm sorry. Oh. Okay. Turned it up a bit more. Is it better? I can scream louder. But yeah, I think there's just, and again, I'm not trying to pass judgment on this witness for the sake of it. The reason there's a necessity to pass judgment is because he's on the witness stand testifying against somebody else, right? So there has to be a credibility assessment. I don't know if the defense is going to poke at some of these things or what, but some of these details just don't math. So I'm not sure if I believe that he heard what he may have been hearing, if he heard anything at all, correctly.
When he told you that, did you stop talking to him, or did you continue to, I don't know, try and be his friend, or?
I just continued to talk because I didn't know it was, you know, anything as dramatic as this. So I just continued to talk because here I am in the same predicament you is. I'm just not, you know, charged for the same thing. So I try not to judge people by that.
Did he tell you what had happened to her body?
Yes, ma'am, he did. He told me that the bottom side was found in one part of Tennessee, and then some other pieces was found otherwhere. So.
I'm sorry, didn't hear that.
Also doesn't matter.
And other pieces was found other places. That's what he told me.
But did he say what had happened to her body before that?
It had got chopped up. He said it had been chopped up.
And specifically,
I'm sorry, he's just dropping his voice.
It had got chopped up.
specifically, did he tell you that they had found her upper torso?
Yes, ma'am.
When you heard all of this, I know that you had tried not to judge, but did you, on your own, reach out to law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they come and talk to you?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
And was that while you were still locked up doing your 60 days?
Yes, ma'am.
At that point when they came and talked to you, did you ask for anything from them?
No, ma'am.
Did you want anything from them?
No, ma'am.
You'd already pled guilty. Your case, you had your days, right?
Yes, ma'am. 60 days. Yes, ma'am.
Did you share with law enforcement what you told the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rivers, did he, when it came time for you to get out in June, did Zachary Adams, that you pointed out here, tell you or mention a video?
Yeah, he actually, I told him, to let me know how, everything turned out. And, and I told him, we prayed and stuff before I left. And I actually left him my Bible because he already had one, but I still left him my Bible so he can pass over to somebody else. And he gave me his number. And he said, man, I'm going to, he said, do you have a Facebook or a YouTube account or Facebook account? And I was like, yeah. And I gave him my, Facebook and stuff, information. And he was like, man, I'm going to call you.
What? You had a horrible, horrible experience as a child. And you're hearing that this person that you're cellmates with is accused of heinous crimes. And in 2017, this is September. This trial is taking place in September of 2017. And he's released in June 2017 after being cellmates with Zach Adams. And you're going to give him your Facebook? So I don't believe that contemporaneously in June, you believe what you believe in September 2017 about Zach Adams. And also, yeah, Zach's always on Facebook. That kind of goes to that point too, GV.
And I'm going to give you something. I was like, all right, I wasn't really thinking nothing much. I'm ready to go. My time is up. I'm ready to go home. So I really wasn't thinking nothing of it. So when I did get out, about a week later, he did call, but I never picked up because I never put no money on the phone. And once I start, researching and Googling.
You can't.
That's where you get the different impression. This is you piecing memories together. And this is how the human mind works.
Talk about what you said, but after you got out in
Don't
June,
say you Googled.
did
Don't
you
say
look
you
up this
Googled.
case?
Prosecutor didn't want him saying that. Didn't want him telling the jury or letting the jury understand why he changed his mind about what was being said to him while he was cellmates.
So when I did get out, about a week later, he did call, but I never picked up because I never put no money on the phone. And once I start, researching and Googling.
You can't talk about what you said, but after you got out in June, did you look up this case and decide that you weren't going to talk to him anymore?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what I'm asking, I asked you, before you left, did he tell you about a video? And then you jumped to the Facebook and the YouTube. So what did he tell you about the video?
He told me that it was something, he had something he wanted to show me. He wanted to tell me to look up when I get out by the video.
Did he make any reference to it being right under the noses?
Oh, yes, he said,
Tell the
yes,
truth.
yes, ma'am. He told me it was right under the nose of, the people who's looking into this.
But that what? They hadn't found it?
No, they haven't found it. So he told me he was going to, when he called me, just pay close attention to what he said. But when he called, I never put no money on the phone or no time on the phone.
Is everything that you told the jury here true?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
All right, cross-examination.
Now, Mr. Rivers, where you were staying in the Williamson County Jail, that's protective custody, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, everybody is locked up 23 hours a day in their cells.
That is correct, ma'am.
And you were in protective custody because you were a sex offender on the sex offender registry.
That is correct, ma'am.
Matter of fact, you have a felony sex offense for child molestation.
That's not correct, ma'am.
You're on the sex offender registry for
Lewd and lascivious.
lewd and lascivious behavior with someone under the age of 16.
That's not correct, ma'am.
That's not correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So it's an error if the record shows that?
On whoever part, it got to be. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so even when people are let out of jail for their 1 hour a day, everybody in this unit is let out at different times, aren't they?
Yes, ma'am.
And they can then leave their small 6 by 4 foot cell to go into the main rec room. Isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am. What do you mean by small rec room?
Okay,
We're in the
so-
dormitory on the top floor.
You go into but you can go into the main part of the dorm, like the large rec room is where you go during your 1 hour of release time. Is
If
that
you're on the
right?
top floor, you have to kind of like stay on the top floor. If you're on the bottom, you stay on the bottom unless you're using the phone. Otherwise, it's no moving around.
Okay, but you get to come out of your cell and you can walk up and down
Yes, ma'am.
the aisle by the other cells.
That's correct, ma'am.
And that's the time when you take a shower and you can go down and use the telephone.
That's correct, ma'am.
And there's one telephone in the main area of the pod, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So all the cell doors kind of open out to this common area.
If it's your time to come out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but what I'm saying is all the doors face this opening of the common area, don't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there's one television that people watch, isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you actually share that television with another unit?
No, ma'am.
Control? Well, I guess the downstairs and the upstairs share the television, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're going to watch television, you actually have to stand in your cell and look out the little bitty window in the door.
Not the room I was in. I can sit on my bed and actually watch TV. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so-
But that is the case on similar situation.
Okay. And each door has a very small window that looks out, doesn't it?
That is correct, ma'am.
Kind of a long rectangular window.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you're only allowed out of your cell 1 hour a day,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're not free to really be, have physical contact with anybody else in the cell.
No, ma'am.
Now, you've been in more than one jail over your lifetime, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay. And in jail, would you agree with me that people like to maintain a kind of a, in general, a tough demeanor so that they are not picked on or bullied by other inmates?
You can say that.
I mean, it's kind of a survival of the fittest in jail, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what you said earlier about when you got stopped in the car, this is while you were driving around, and you lied and gave them somebody else's ID.
All right, so I'm not sure, but I think there's similarities with this record. We have the same first and last name. Oh, making me do a CAPTCHA, and then I'll pull it up. So I'm not sure because this photo looks like a significant loss of weight, but we do have Corey Rivers. We do have a Florida offense. We do have a driving while license suspended. And then we have, let's see. In 2015, we have charges dismissed, nolle for forgery and identity theft. And then we have a guilty plea for a different forgery charge. We've got, let's see. Oh, this is all May 9th, 2015. Guilty plea for criminal impersonation, for sexual offender registration form violation. We have charge dismissed or nolle for 2 other sex offender registration form violations, and then the guilty plea on one of the forgeries. So, I don't know, because this is Tennessee registry, but we have the Florida. I think this could be the same person. We have Jacksonville. So not really sure. Not really sure. But for whatever reason, we don't have, I would have liked to see Jennifer Thompson fight to introduce something onto the record. And great point here from Dana McClendon. And I agree, it's astonishing. So Zach's convicted without any physical evidence. There's physical evidence available for some of the other potential suspects. So that's interesting. And then also convicted on almost entirely the testimony of men who have actually raped and hurt women. So we get through this whole direct examination with Corey Rivers on the stand. He tells us about his history growing up, what he personally, unfortunately, tragically experienced. But we don't have it elicited, even though we get his story about driving with his license suspended. The state doesn't elicit that he potentially has had some issue with acts of lewdness for someone under 16 years old, a felony charge for child molestation. We don't get that until we get over to Cross. And then he pushes back and says it must be an error. And to me, that's left up in the air. So, I don't know. But even so, moving on to other witnesses in this case. Jason Autry, multiple-time felon. Victor Dinsmore, a convicted rapist. Terry Britt, you guys know that story. Yeah, there we go. Dana's got it here. Terry Britt, multiple-time convicted kidnapping rapist. And yet he's a key witness. Key witness. So, and I'm telling you, if you guys knew this channel, if you hung out with us for the Christopher Wolfenbarger trial over in Fulton County, Georgia, cold case, the theory being that Christopher Wolfenbarger killed and dismembered his girlfriend Melissa's body, mother of his children. Their evidence was he used to work at a warehouse and borrowed a saw once. Then we get information introduced at trial. We call witnesses to the stand where Melissa's father was a convicted killer. He was called the Flint River Killer. He was looked at as being a serial killer. And then his wife and his other daughter, Melissa's sister, are put on the stand to say that their evidence, their proof, that it couldn't have been the father that also would have killed his own daughter, despite killing other friends and family members, was that he wouldn't have done that. And the state lost that case. So different outcome over there for Christopher Wolfenbarger, and I think it was the right outcome for Christopher Wolfenbarger. But just crazy. Great case. Totally recommend checking that out if you did not catch that one. Lots of evidentiary issues. Right in the beginning, one of the first witnesses was someone that worked for the state, helped with the investigation, says they turned over a video to the state, and the defense is like, what? We never got this video. And so they voir dire a little bit, and the witness on the stand points at the prosecutor, the lead prosecutor on the case, and says, I gave it to you. So lots of mess in the Wolfenbarger trial as well. Let's get some more tea from Dana, and then we'll finish out with Corey Rivers here. Dana says, more astonishing things about this case. The state called the local convicted kidnapping rapist as a witness, and then went all in on discrediting 3 career law enforcement officers. So Terry Dykes, Art Viveros, and Marshal John Walker, I'm assuming. Nichols, the prosecutor, who has a very interesting track record, now a judge, vouched for the rapist, and then treated career law enforcement officers with complete contempt. That was painful testimony to watch of Nichols during the post-conviction hearings. Lots of stuff. And then happily angry lawyer. You know, I think Dana McClendon and James Robichaux, happily angry lawyer, I think you guys would be great collaborators together. Like the attention to detail between you two, just incredible. But yes, you heard Wolfenbarger, have I been summoned? Welcome. Good to have you here. And yes, so a hot mess. Let's get back to this Corey Rivers cross that turned itself on its head.
That just you were stopped driving and you handed them somebody else's ID, somebody else's driver's license.
That is correct, ma'am.
And that was just for your pure own self-survival, right?
Yes, ma'am.
To try to keep you out of trouble.
Pretty much.
And so you lied to police in order to benefit yourself, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so now you initially contacted the police before you were released from jail about Mr. Adams, didn't you?
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay. You contacted police on May the 4th, which was, you hadn't even been there a whole month when you contacted the police about him.
6 days shorter than a month, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because at that point you thought, you say it was just to, you said you contacted them because it was such a serious crime, that's why you came forward?
Yes, ma'am. What he told me, yes, ma'am.
But you recognize that there might be some benefit to you.
What benefit was it towards me, ma'am?
Well, you recognize that sometimes they do let people out of their sentence. They get a lighter sentence if they come forward with information, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am, but I still kept my 60 days and 2 years probations, which I only have 8 more months left now that I'm going to do to the door.
That's right, because there wasn't an opportunity for you to testify before your time expired, was there?
I didn't know because I didn't know anything about the case at that time as far as that detail.
But you did have television where you were in your cell.
Williamson County didn't broadcast that, but I didn't see it.
Okay, they did broadcast the news though.
She's arguing with him.
I mean, they did broadcast the news.
Let him answer.
Okay.
They broadcasted the news, ma'am, but I didn't see anything as far as in what Zach is accused of at that time.
He didn't give you any more details about the crime than what you've said here in front of the jury, did he?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But he did just admit to you that he was involved in it.
Yes, ma'am.
A person he had just met.
Yes, ma'am.
Another criminal that's being housed in protective custody along with him.
Yes, ma'am.
And he also talked to you about religion.
Yes, ma'am.
If I can have a minute. And then before you were released from custody, you called the TBI back and talked to them one more time, didn't you?
Is the judge watching football again? He's taking a serious look at something here.
You were released from custody, you called the TBI back and talked to them one more time, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And this time, you said he had continued to talk to you while you were in jail, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am,
That
I
was
did.
your claim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Even though you did admit that he said his attorney had told him to not talk about the case?
Yes, ma'am. Him, his attorney and his papa. That's what he used to call his grandfather, his papa.
Papa?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And you don't believe everything people tell you in jail, do you?
Object to relevance, whether
Sustained.
No further questions.
Ms. Rivers, Ms. Thompson just asked you about why you were on the sex offender registry. Does that relate back to a charge that you got when you were in state custody when your mother was in prison?
Yes, ma'am. I was in a juvenile program.
Okay. And you were how old?
I was 17 when I was accused. I didn't get formally charged until I was 18. He was 16. He touched me. I touched him. He told me that he told me if I didn't let them know what I did, that he was going to tell so I can catch more time. But I was so ignorant at that time that I didn't care. I was ready to go. So he told.
So he has experience being on the receiving end of a jailhouse snitch as well.
Of what happened, that I touched him and he touched me. So they had to wait till I was 18 to formally charge me, which was a year later. But I was so ignorant with the law till I took a plea. And that was when I was 18. I'm now 32. I have never ever had any other crime like that. Never even dealt with nothing else like that in my life.
You could actually be off the sex offender registry in Florida.
Yeah, I didn't
at
know.
this time, but you just didn't get
I
off.
didn't even know until somebody, till a lawyer reached out to me and told me, looked into my case and told me that I can't fight it because it's so old, but that I can get off the registry. But I don't, I'm back working, I'm in school, and right now I just don't have the funds to pursue that to get off right now. But it is in the making. Yes, ma'am.
And since Ms. Thompson was asking you some questions sort of about your credibility, I see you have 2 teardrops. Sometimes that's associated with gang killings. What are yours for?
Mine is for my grandmama. I got them in 2008 when she passed. It was for my grandmother.
2? You have 2 teardrops.
Your credibility. I see you have 2 teardrops. Sometimes that's associated with gang killings. What are yours for?
Mine is for my grandmama. I got them in 2008 when she passed. It was for my grandmother.
When Zach told you about the 2 other people that got Holly with him, that got Holly into the woods, did you also report that?
Objection to reading, Your Honor.
I'm not suggesting. He can say yes, he can say no. I just got to get him to a certain place, Judge. Did you also report a statement that Zach made about what one of the other individuals ultimately did to himself?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Objection, Your Honor. It's to relevance.
I can't remember if it was his.
Wait just a minute for you.
The question again.
Was what something else Zach told him about one of the individuals involved?
All right.
I couldn't remember what was it because it's been over a year. I don't recall if it was his brother or his cousin, but he said someone had, committed suicide and killed themselves
Because why?
because of the situation that they had got into.
Did he tell you because he felt so bad?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those my words or
No,
are those?
those are my words.
Okay. Your words or are they Zach's words?
Well, those exact words. I'm sorry.
That's all. Thank you.
So I want to understand, you're saying that this charge that I asked you about, it was not with someone under 16, it was with someone who was 16.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay.
You wasn't precise, so I didn't
And-
answer.
Okay, so I got it a little wrong. And then you're saying that you were not guilty of it, but they charged you when you were 18 and you went ahead and took a plea to prevent further trouble?
I had been in a juvenile program since I was 14 years old. I didn't get out till I was 18. I didn't have my mother at the time. I was raised by the street, so I was ignorant with the law. So they offered me 35 years or versus take 5 years probation with the plea, and I took it because I didn't have no lawyer or anything to represent me, and I didn't know nothing about the law at that time.
You did not have a lawyer on a case that serious?
A public defender.
Okay, but a public defender would be an attorney, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so what you're saying is you lied about being guilty in order to get yourself a better benefit.
So I wouldn't take 35 years.
And you went to court and you lied about being guilty in front of the court.
So I wouldn't take 35 years.
Okay, just to be clear. Thank you.
Done?
Done.
All right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you. Please don't discuss your testimony with anyone.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was the time. Yeah, and I'm not really sure what's going on with he was saying he was 17 when the offense occurred, when, as Trenton's pasting here, it was the lewd or I don't even know how to say that. I thought it was like lascivious, but it's lascivious conduct, victim under 16, by offender 18 years. The offender should be characterized by the date of the offense. So I don't know what's going on with him saying that he was 17. That doesn't seem reliable, but that's me judging that sitting here based on what I can see. I also saw real quick, he picked up something, and I don't have a Unicourt subscription anymore. I canceled it because I've been pulling things directly from the courthouses. But I did see a Unicourt thing that he had some arrest in April of 2019, which would have been after this trial. So, who knows? Who knows? That's this here. I'm not that inclined to go do a deep dive on it, but I was just thinking of this. I saw the 2019 after he said, he looked at the jury and said, I haven't been in trouble since, which might have been true in September 2017 when he's delivering this testimony, but who knows?
How long is your next witness?
Not terribly long, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and get another, then we'll take a break, okay?
Or actually, let's do while they get the next witness in. We've got Dana with all the examples here to illustrate what's going on. Dana says, I'll give you an example of what Zach said versus what was reported. A witness said, Zach said, tell my brother to shut his mouth or I'll kill him. Zach said, tell my brother to keep his mouth shut, because the lies he's telling have me in a lot of trouble. And those things mean two very different things. Again, I'm going to go back to the YSL trial. Do you think people were happy to hear? I mean, just say the word gonna. Look at the way that the internet, let alone, I'm sure there were reactions from people that actually were indicted with Gunna, reacted to the news that Gunna talked. And Gunna took this plea where he told all. And whatever it was being characterized as, even though we have a different version of what actually happened with Gunna's plea now. It was a huge, huge, huge talking point. I know, don't even say it. Don't even say it. But the first thing you think of is, man, they're all talking. And then shortly after that, we call it Pleapalooza. There were like 5 pleas that ended up being dropped down and accepted the day or two after Christmas that year. Right before the trial was set to start that January, even though jury selection would end up taking 10 months. So, still angry about that discourse. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And then, okay, and Trenton says, a new charge for Corey, 1/28/2022, defrauding financial business, which is, you know, if he's taken some pleas and some guilty pleas on that, some nollies, there you are doing it again. But that wasn't available in 2017. But yeah, to me, not a very strong repertoire of witnesses being called to the stand here. But seems like the jury thought it was compelling.
Called Shawn Cooper.
Oh yeah, did you guys know this? Let's shout that out. So, Happily Angry Lawyer noticed an invalid sentence that was part of Gunna's plea in the YSL indictment, and Judge Whitaker corrected it after Hal had pointed it out. So shout out to Jim. Shout out to Happily Angry Lawyer. Still fighting the Fulton County fight over there. And also another thing that was becoming a cliche at this point, invalid sentences in Fulton County.
Raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Come up here and be seated. State your first and last name, spelling for the benefit of the court reporter.
Well,
Shawn Cooper,
I think we have another jailhouse witness, just judging by the attire.
SHAWNCOOPER.
Mr. Cooper, you're gonna keep your voice up, okay?
Yes, sir.
Even louder than that.
Yes, sir.
Stick into that microphone so we can hear you over here, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're in a prison outfit, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Jail outfit.
Jail, what jail are you in?
Hardman County.
Why are you in jail in Hardin County?
Hardman, I think he said.
Hardman. Yeah. Violation of probation, not paying my fines and not showing up.
Not paying your fines and what?
Not showing up to see her.
Not showing up for your meetings?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what were you on probation for?
Theft under 500 and traveling suspended.
Alright, so 2 misdemeanors.
Yes, sir.
But you do have 2 felonies in your past, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Aggravated assault and arson?
Yes, sir.
And how long ago was that?
2008.
That involved your ex-wife?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about another time you were in jail, okay?
Yes, sir.
March of 2014. March the 4th of 2014.
Yes, sir.
Did something happen that day?
Yes, sir.
All right, speak up loud. Tell me and the jury what happened.
I was sitting there and a lady,
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting on a bench after court, just sitting there, all the inmates were sitting there, waiting till the other inmates go to court and stuff.
Is there like a room outside the courtroom where the inmates are locked up or whatever?
It's just a hallway.
Just a hallway?
Yeah, we was just sitting on a bench, all cuffed.
Okay.
And a lady come out and said, does anybody think they're gonna be able to bond out or go home today? And I raised my hand, or raised my finger, just joking. She said, no, Mr. Cooper, you're gonna go to O'Brien County. You got a hold.
Okay, so let me interrupt you. Woman comes out, is anybody gonna go home today? Is anybody gonna bond out or get time served or whatever and go home today?
Yes, sir.
And you raised your hand, but you knew you weren't going home today.
No, I knew I wasn't going.
Did you say it was a joke?
Yeah.
And she told you what?
You have a hold in O'Brien County.
Okay, a hold means they want you in O'Brien County for something, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So that means that you would, if you left their jail, you'd be going to a different jail,
Yes, sir.
to the O'Brien County jail.
Yes, sir.
After she told you that, did anybody say anything to you?
Zachary Adams was sitting there.
Now, did you know Zachary Adams?
No, sir.
So before that day, is it fair to say you didn't even know who he was?
Yes, sir. I didn't know him.
Never hung out with him?
No.
Nothing like that?
No, sir.
All right, well, tell me what happened.
He said, you going to O'Brien County? He said, you know who I am? I said, no. He said, I'm Zachary Adams. I'm the Holly Bobo murder case. I said, oh. And he said, is there any way you can talk to any inmates when you get there on the federal side? And I said, I don't know, maybe through the door.
Let me interrupt you, okay? When he asked, is there any way that you could talk to other inmates there on the federal side, what is he talking about?
It's a federal holding facility. It holds the federal inmates.
Okay, so O'Brien County has prisoners like you, but they also may have some prisoners that are federal. defendants.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
He asked you whether or not you were going to be able to talk to him.
Yes, sir.
So what'd you tell him?
I said I might can, if I'm in F pod or E pod, maybe through the door, I might could talk to him.
Okay.
And I can't really remember what name he told me, but he told me it was his brother. He said, you tell him if he don't keep his mouth shut, I'm gonna put him in the hole beside her.
Beside who?
Holly Bobo.
He told you, and you said
He
the
wasn't
name, you
buried.
can't remember.
Holly was not buried. Holly was not buried.
But it was his brother,
Yeah, he says my brother.
and you better do what?
Keep his mouth shut before I put him in the hole beside her.
Or put him in a hole beside.
Yes,
And what'd you
sir.
say to him?
I told him he better quit talking to me, and probably I said a few cuss words to him, and he shut up, and then they come and got me, or he went in the court and got his bond.
Let me interrupt you right before that, okay? You said some cuss words to him?
Yeah,
Why'd you say some cuss words to him?
because it hit me wrong, so it made me mad.
You threatened him?
I said something to him, I can't really remember. I
Okay.
slapped you or something.
That you were gonna slap him or something.
Yeah,
Is it fair to say you didn't want him talking to you?
yeah, right after that.
Did you want to be part of this at all?
No,
All right, you said he went into court then and came back. What happened then?
he was walking out. He said something about I got a blah 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 bond. Just
Talking about his bond,
yeah, like it was a joke or something.
like it was a joke.
Yeah,
So he had gone into court and whatever happened in court, happened in court. And now he has come back and he's made some joke about his bond.
yes sir.
Do you remember the exact words he used?
No, something about I got a blah 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 bond, like it was cool or something.
Like it was cool.
Something.
Did you think it was cool?
No, I just want to go home.
You just wanted to go home.
Yeah,
But you weren't going home, you were going to Levine County.
yeah.
Did he make any other statements back there with you about the case?
I try to remember.
Okay.
It's been
And were
some
there
years.
any other people back there with you when this happened?
Yeah, there's a couple people sitting there.
Would it be fair to say there were other inmates?
Yes sir.
Did you personally know any of those other inmates?
No sir.
All right, so you hear Zach Adams ask you, will you be able to talk to the federal inmates in Levine County? You tell him maybe.
Yes sir.
He tells you to get a message to his brother. Is that correct?
Yes sir.
Lie in a hole next to Holly, or next to her.
Yes sir.
Is that right?
Yes sir.
You hear him joking about his bond.
Yes sir.
So after you hear this, do you run to the police? Do you run to the police and try to get credit for this? See if maybe you can get out of going to Levine County.
No sir.
Instead, how did the police find out about this?
I was talking to my old lady because I was sort of stunned about it all.
You mumbled that, to say it again.
I was sort of stunned, so I was trying to tell my old lady, like in a secret way, in court, or on the phone, about what happened in court.
All right, so right after you got out of court, did you call your old lady?
Yeah, sometime that day.
And you try to tell her what you heard?
Yeah, can't believe what this dude said to me.
And the police must have been listening to that, right?
I guess.
Because then they came to you.
Yeah.
And when they came to you 9 days later, did you tell them the truth, just like you've told us today?
Yes sir.
Have you ever received anything in return for this?
No sir.
Have I ever done anything for you?
No sir.
Has anybody ever done anything for you?
No sir.
You're serving time because you didn't pay your fines and you missed some probation years.
Yes sir.
Be fair to say nobody's helped you?
Nobody's helped me.
You talked about how you were going to Obion County. Where were you presently when this happened? What county?
Chester County.
Chester County. Is that where this conversation took place in the lockup?
Yes, sir.
Do you see Mr. Adams in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Can you point where he's seated?
Right there.
For the record, they defend that.
Thanks. No further questions.
Cross.
Now, Mr. Cooper, in fact, you did tell other inmates about what you claim Mr. Adams said, didn't you?
Other inmates?
Other inmates, yes.
I think I asked one if they heard it. I don't know if I told any of them, but I asked the one dude next to me if he heard. I don't remember what he said. It's been years ago.
But in fact, you did tell other people in your cell with you what Mr. Adams had said. You all discussed it, didn't you?
I don't remember.
So it's possible you did and you just don't remember now?
I don't remember.
Can you answer it louder?
I don't remember.
Okay. So that's a memory you don't have at this point.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay. And this happened in Chester County. You went to Obion County. You went to Obion County because you had a failure to appear. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Your failure to appear in Obion County got dropped, didn't it?
I served, I don't know, 10, 15 days there.
Well, that was before you had your court date and you had your hearing on it, isn't it?
I don't remember about all that.
Okay. And matter of fact, at the time all this happened, you were telling people that Zach Adams was bragging about having a $2 million bond. Do you remember telling people that?
Yeah, I remember him bragging about that. That's when he come out the courtroom.
And do you now remember saying that he was bragging about having a $2 million bond?
I remember it, but I don't remember telling nobody that.
Okay.
I remember what he said, though. I'll never forget all of it.
And do you remember at the original time you said, you never mentioned Holly Bobo's name, you quoted Mr. Adams as saying if he didn't shut up, he would put his brother in a hole right beside her.
Yeah, because he told me before that he was a Holly Bobo murder case. That's how I knew, Holly Bobo.
Now, you would agree with me that people in jail talk big, don't they?
They try to. They try to.
They try to? And you don't believe everything people in jail say to you, do you?
Not some stuff.
And you've talked big in jail before yourself, haven't you?
Not really. I mind my own business, stay to myself.
Okay. No further questions.
All right. Let's step down. Let's take a recess. It's right at 2 o'clock. We'll resume at 2:15.
Chase. For what we're talking about, high-speed chase, stealing the truck.
All right, so this is another example. It's happened a few times where the law and crime feed, like the way that they jump in and out of the different witnesses, we're missing the beginning of this testimony. So it just starts in the middle.
Were you ever in the Chester County Jail?
Yes, sir.
And did a conversation or some statements happen around you?
Yes, sir.
Or actually, I'm looking at theinnocentbrothers.com. So again, shout out to your whole team over at the Trial and Error podcast. It says unnamed witness, so maybe they cut that out because they didn't want to say his information.
Can you tell me where you were, why you were there, and what happened?
I was in Chester County Jail. I was there for, was accused of stealing a Ford truck and doing a high-speed chase.
When you say accused, I think you probably did it, didn't you?
And that one, no.
That one, no.
That one, no.
All right, so there's other ones you have done.
Yes, everything else I did, that was one of the first ones that I didn't do.
Okay.
I did the high-speed chase in it and, you know, fought the officers and everything else that went with it.
You just didn't steal the truck?
I just didn't steal the truck.
All right, tell me what happened. Where were you? What happened?
With the theft or the jail or...
Excuse me?
With the jail or...
With the jail.
Yeah. I'd been in jail about a month. I was going up for arraignment. I was kind of late coming into the court area because my lawyer, Chip Sherrod, had come in to see me, and he pulled me aside. And I went in, and in Chester County, it's a long hallway with a bench on the side. And a guy named Cooper, who's in the pod with me, was sitting at the front of the bench. And I went up and I sat next to him, and he told me he'd already been inside. And Zach was standing in front of us on the wall.
Now, let me interrupt you. You said Zach and you pointed. Is that the defendant here today?
Yes, sir.
The record can so reflect. Did you know Zach at that time?
No, I'd never seen him before in my life.
Never seen him before in your life? Okay, what happened?
He was leaning against the wall, and I asked Cooper what happened in his court hearing. He said that he was done in Chester County and he had to go to another jail. And Zach stepped forward and said, "Hey, my brother's in that jail. Will you give him a message for me?" Cooper said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell him if he doesn't keep his fucking mouth shut, I'm going to plant him next to that bitch."
Plant
Keep his
or
mouth
bury?
shut. I'm going to plant him next to that.
Yeah, and Cooper, you know, looked taken aback and asked him, "What's up with that?" And he's, "Oh, my brother, he's telling on me," and went into. Me and Cooper talked for about 5 minutes about my bail. I had $1 million bail. He commented.
All right, so it just jumped a little bit from 326.
My brother, he's telling on me, and went into. Me and Cooper talked for about
It looks like it cut like 30 seconds out.
5 minutes about my bail. I had $1 million bail. He commented on the bail situation.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
Zach. He commented on my bail. Said that he'd probably have higher bail, and I told him probably so. I said, considering what you're charged with, I said mine was excessive. And about that time, they called me into the courtroom. And I went in there, had my arraignment. I come back outside, and I went and I sat down at the other end of the bench. I wanted to be away from my co-defendant. And he'd moved up to the front, so I moved back to the back of the bench. And Zach was pacing around, and he come up, and we talked a little bit about bail situation again, and then he was last. So they called him in, and he was in there for a little while, and he comes back out, and comes back, and he's like, "I got $2 million. He said, "I guess you gotta kill a bitch to get that kind of bail around here."
I got $2 million. Make sure I get it right. I guess you got to kill a bitch to get
that kind of bail around here.
Here.
Yeah. And he said, "But I'm not worried." He said, "They don't have no body, they don't have no gun, they don't have no conviction, because they don't have a body and they don't have a gun."
Got no body, not no gun.
No
So
conviction.
No conviction.
Yes, sir.
Because no body and no gun.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever talked to Zach Adams before that day?
No, sir. Never seen him before in my life.
Have you been promised anything in return for your testimony?
No, sir.
You've received nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Cross.
Now, Mr. Adams had recently been arrested on the Holly Bobo case, hadn't he?
From what I understood at that time, yeah.
And it had been in the news that they'd been searching his house and his property regarding Holly Bobo, wasn't it?
Well, I was in the jail, and the only information I had was when I would call home, You know, my mom's from Decatur County, and so she would tell me little bits and pieces of things.
Okay.
But I only knew secondhand knowledge. So the Chester County Jail has no newspapers, no TV, no source of news at all. So I knew very little about what was going on the outside.
But your family did, and they were passing some information on to you.
Yes.
And in fact, though Mr. Adams was not facing a murder charge out of Chester County, he was facing his charge out of Decatur County. Your mother was from Decatur County.
Yes, she is.
Okay. And so you knew that the Holly Bobo murder was out of Decatur County.
Yes, and he was, from what we understood, he was being held in Chester County.
And did you know at the time he was in protective custody?
No, I didn't.
He never came to the pod with you all, did he?
No, they had him in a special pod towards the front of the jail.
Just a special single cell right there by the main office?
Yes.
Okay. And people in jail, they talk big, don't they?
Yes, they do.
I mean, in a way, you want to kind of talk big to protect yourself.
We brag.
Okay. And it would not be uncommon for somebody who's possibly in protective custody to want to brag and protect themselves more than others. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Anything else? All right. You have Mr. Britt back. All right, you're next.
We can offer evidence this time, a certificate of authenticity with regard to documents that have been marked for identification previously. The Facebook Adams of Mr. Zach Adams, Exhibit 62, for identification through the witness Rebecca Earth. We have a certificate of authenticity and would introduce one page of those records, page 184, and pass those two things forward to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you want to file as an exhibit?
Yes, sir.
All right, the
Exhibit 62.
214?
Yes, sir.
Just check. I'm going to publish this by reading it, Judge.
Okay.
This is a certificate of authenticity of domestic records and regularly conducted activity. I'm Nick Jarvis, certified and employed by Facebook Inc., headquartered in Menlo Park, California. I'm a duly authorized custodian of records for Facebook and qualified to certify Facebook's records of regularly conducted activity. I've reviewed the records produced by Facebook in this matter in response to the search warrant received on March 12, 2014. The records include search results, the basic subscriber information, messages, photos, videos, other content, and records for and that give a long account number. The records provided are an exact copy of the records that were made and kept by the automated systems of Facebook in the course of regularly conducted activity as a regular practice of Facebook. The records were saved in electronic format after searching Facebook's automated systems in accordance with the legal process. The records were made at or near the time the information was transmitted by the Facebook user. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing certification is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Beth Jarvis, dated May of 2017. Facebook picture entitled, "Who Am I Looking For?" from Zach Adams' Facebook account.
Let's say uploaded December 15th. I mean, couldn't this just be hunting season? I'm looking for a rabbit, a wabbit. Is this for real? This might be like if not the same level, maybe even worse than the YSL prosecution. And oh my gosh, here's a picture of somebody wearing something red in the YSL trial. Or green. Green was bad too. All of the colors were bad.
We can call our next witness.
Next witness is?
State calls Christopher Swift.
All right, so that was just like without a witness on the stand. They're admitting something that maybe they forgot to admit when Rebecca Earp was on the stand. I don't really understand why they're doing this right now, but who knows. Shout out to Derek Croissant for the super sticker. Big thank you, Derek, for all your support. Also want to give a big thank you here to Sunshine for You1, who said best way to make it through a workday. Get together in unison, scream at your screen with me, or in silence in your own head at whatever's going on in this. What does Nick Starro say? Flustercluck of a trial. Oh boy, so glad to have you guys here paying attention to this. Sometimes I miss the YSL trial, and seeing this level crazy and being able to call it out is bringing back that same experience. Thank you again, you guys.
You want to kill the machine? Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, state your first and last name, spell it for the court reporter.
Chris Swift, C-H-R-I-S, S-W-I-F-T.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Afternoon.
I want to talk to you first about your past a little bit. You have a couple of felonies over the years, right?
Yes, sir.
What have you pled guilty to over the years?
I've got a forgery. I've got a third-degree rape, attempted spousal rape, and aggravated assault.
In those
Your
cases,
voice is kind of trailing off. Can you speak up, please?
Yes, sir.
if you can speak where I can hear you back here, then it should be okay.
I've got third-degree rape, forgery,
Mother,
attempted spousal rape, and aggravated assault.
is this for real? Like, who made the clown car comment in the chat earlier? They filled up a clown car with people with, like, very relevant, related priors to come and point the finger at the defendant. And again, this is something that could have happened whoever was sitting over at the defense table. It might have been a different cast of characters, but this is coming from the same prosecution team who's testifying at these post-conviction hearings. Well, we couldn't have brought the trial against somebody else because we couldn't use 404B evidence.
And you're currently on the SOR, Sex Offender Registry, and probation, is that correct?
Correct.
But what are you doing now? What's your life like?
Well, now
Another
I'm
gentleman.
foreman at Jones Brothers Contracting.
I'm sorry, can you speak up just a little bit? Maybe you can use the microphone. There you go.
Working at for Jones Brothers.
Jones Brothers?
Yeah.
What is that? What do you do there?
With heavy excavation construction work.
Okay. And did you say you were a foreman with them now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I want to take you back to a couple years ago. This is 2016, right? Were you in jail in 2016?
Yes, sir.
What jail were you in?
Williams County.
And were you serving some time for that last offense that you had?
Yes, sir.
Did you at some point meet Zach Adams?
Yes, sir.
Speak up just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Do you see Zach Adams during the courtroom?
Yes.
Okay, if you could point him out and describe what he's wearing.
Right there, the orange tie.
All right, for the record, you can tell that.
How did you get to know Zach in the jail?
We just got to talking every day and kind of struck up friendship.
How did that work? When you say talking every day, are you guys talking like over lunch or is it, how does it work exactly?
Now, we was talking on recreation whenever we come out. We were locked down 23 hours a day. You come out, it's solitary confinement. We was out an hour a day. And whenever I'd come out, I'd go down, talk to him. Whenever he'd come out, he'd come over and talk to me.
Were you also, and I remember you telling me that your particular cell was situated in a spot where he might walk by
Yeah,
on a regular basis?
On the top tier, there was a shower at the very end of the wall. My cell was right there in the corner, right beside the shower.
Okay.
So he had to come by my cell every day.
Would sometimes when he walked by your cell on his way to the shower, would he stop by and talk to you a little bit?
Yes, sir.
You, now when you were in jail, and maybe you still are, but you were a religious man, and you prayed frequently, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did Mr. Adams notice when you were praying one time?
Yes, sir, he did.
And did that spark a little conversation?
It did.
Tell the jury about that.
He asked me if I thought that, if God would forgive him, and I'd asked him, I said, forgive you for what? And he said, my case. And so what do you mean? And he said, the Holly killing. And I told him, I said, yeah, God will forgive you for everything. It says in the Bible, forgive you your sins if you just ask for forgiveness. And he asked if I'd pray for him, and I said, yeah.
So he saw you praying. Were you actually praying when he saw you?
Yes,
And he asked you was this when you were in your cell?
correct,
And he asked you if God would forgive him.
correct,
And you asked him why. And he said, for the Holly Bobo killing.
correct.
What else did he say?
He just wanted to know if I'd pray for him.
Did you pray for him?
I did.
Did he talked to you a little bit more about the Holly Bobo killing and rape?
He did.
Was it that same day?
No, sir. It was over a period of time.
Okay. So tell us what he told you the next time. Did he talk to you the next day or the next week or?
It was the next day. It was over, a couple day period here. That, he wasn't involved in the killing, is how he worded it. He said, I wasn't involved in the killing. I was involved in the worst part of it.
Okay.
And I didn't press him for anything further. Didn't really want to know any of that, and he'd let me know that, it was some boy that hung himself, and I guess it was his brother that was involved in the killing, is what he said.
Okay.
So all of these bits and pieces, and he said someone killed themselves, when we know it's a fact that Shane Austin, who was not a brother, was just a friend of the Adams, did kill himself. This is like the sprinkle of truth. So we're saying we heard this one thing that we know is true. And then when we heard this other thing, we're going to accept it as true at face value because you're credible in the other thing that you said. For me, it doesn't work that way. That's not how I evaluate what I'm hearing.
Did he mention the rape?
Yeah, he said that they were in a back room having sex with her. So
Who was in the back room having sex with him?
his brother and some boy that hung himself.
Okay. And did he say something went wrong?
Yeah, he said something went bad wrong, and he said he was involved in the worst part of it.
He was involved in the worst part of it. But he didn't tell you specifically if the part that he was involved in was the rape, or if the part that he was involved in was the kidnapping, or if the part that he was involved in was the murder,
No, sir.
or if the part that he was involved in was the disposal of the body.
Correct. And he
He just
didn't
told you that he was involved in the worst part.
in the
of it,
worst part of
and
it.
he wanted to be forgiven for that.
Correct. All he said was he wasn't involved in the killing.
Now, what did you do with this information?
I sat and thought about it for a couple of days about what I should do about it, and then my lawyer had come visit me and told my lawyer about it, and he, I guess, contacted the district attorney or TBI or someone.
Okay. And did TBI come talk to you about it?
They did.
How long did they talk to you about it?
It's about 15, 20 minutes.
And did you tell them what you remembered at that point?
I did. To an extent, I was pretty nervous.
Is that kind of the only time you talked to them about it?
Yeah, and then I met with someone else and discussed it with them as well.
Now, you indicated also that there was a time when you thought that Zach was going to come have a visit with his lawyer or something like that?
Yeah, his attorney had come visit him, and he come back and he was pretty depressed, and for about a week or two.
Before that, though, I want to go take you a little bit before that.
Okay.
Did he ever tell you a little bit about what he thought about the case?
Yeah.
What did he tell you he thought about the case as far as the strength of the case?
He said as soon as the trial was over, he was going home. They didn't have a body, they didn't have a murder weapon, nor a motive.
No body, no murder weapon, no motive. So he thought that when he went to trial, he'd be going home.
Correct.
Then I guess he had a meeting with his lawyer, and then you can go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, he had a meeting with his lawyer.
So I also really don't get this emphasis through the line of questioning and then soliciting the answers from this succession of witnesses about if Shane Austin kills himself and now Zach Adams is distraught about it. If Zach Adams were truly guilty, the behavior I would expect for the news that one of my co-defendants who had dirt on me and could rat me out had killed themselves, I would think I'd be elated. I'd be relieved. For him to be depressed about it is more consistent with the behavior I'd expect, the emotional affect I would expect of someone that feels like they unjustly lost a friend, and that now that might look bad for him because others on the outside, selfishly, might look at Shane unaliving himself, attribute that to consciousness of guilt, and now I look even guiltier because my friend and co-defendant couldn't take the pressure of being falsely accused. And now his choice to unalive himself can be weaponized against me without a real reason to be. So, but I don't know, the state has had more than one witness emphasize that at this point.
And he come back, and he said it didn't look good. He said it didn't look good for him. And that he didn't go into any more detail than that.
After that meeting with his lawyer, did he talk much more to you?
Not really, not a whole lot about the case. He had another meeting with his attorney, and whenever he come back, he was pretty depressed, and he looked at me and was like, I said, well, it sucks being depressed. He looked at me and said, yeah, maybe I should just pray about it.
And was that one of those conversations where he was on his way to the shower and he stopped by
Correct.
yourself?
Yes, sir.
How did you take that when he said that to you?
As a threat.
Were you nervous because you were still in the same area that he was at this point?
Yes.
Did they finally move you out of there?
Yes.
Now at this point, let me ask you this, Chris. When you first went to DBI, when you first told everybody what happened, why did you tell them what happened?
It seemed like the right thing to do.
Did you ask him for anything for your testimony here today?
No, sir.
Did you get anything from your testimony here today?
No, sir. I missed a day's worth of work.
And you, in fact, when this all first began to happen, your deal, whatever it was that you got for the crimes that you committed, was already set.
Correct.
And it didn't change any, did it?
No, sir.
So you served whatever time you were supposed to serve, right?
Yes, sir.
And you got out of jail on the probation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did Zach Adams contact you subsequent to that?
Yes, sir. He called me from another inmate's PIN number and was just, asking how I was doing, how it felt being out. And, you know, I said, well, good, I'm real proud of you. And then he said, I probably wouldn't be talking to anybody else. And he said, you take care of yourself, and then hung up.
Okay. I probably wouldn't be talking to anybody else. Now, based on what you knew about Zach Adams, what you learned about him, spending time in prison with him or jail, did you take that as a threat?
Yeah. I sure did.
Did he ever mention to you, and I'm going before that last conversation, that the phone call you just mentioned, where he said, I probably wouldn't be telling anybody else if I were you. Did he ever mention to you what kind of sentence he might get?
Yeah, he said he was going to get the death penalty.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Mr. Swift, I'm Jennifer Thompson. So the first time you spoke with the police, it was on October the 17th, 2016, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
And up until shortly before that time, you said Mr. Adams was going around kind of bragging, saying no body, they don't have a body, and without a body and no motive, they'll never get a conviction.
I've never said he was bragging about it, no ma'am.
Okay, so he was just telling you, though, that there was no murder weapon, no body, and they wouldn't get a conviction.
Right.
Okay. And you indicated that it was sometime shortly before you spoke with the police that his attorney came to see him and he got depressed?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, he said that he would probably be going to death row?
He said it was going to the road, yes.
And you have television there in that jail, don't you?
A little bit.
Okay.
We don't get to pick the channels we watch.
You,
We
right.
don't, yeah.
There's actually another pod that picks the channels you watch, isn't that right?
I wasn't sure on how all that went.
Okay. But do you remember meeting with my investigators that came to see you? We had two women that came out to talk with you.
No one ever came out and talked with me.
Okay, did they talk to you on the telephone?
Yes.
Okay. But you remember talking with an investigator from the defense team?
Yes, I'd returned the call. They left a note on my door and said that they would like for me to call them back.
And do you remember telling them that you didn't think that Zach had actually committed the crime?
I do.
And that you didn't think he was capable of it?
I remember that.
And that was accurate, that was honest, what you told them, right?
Right. From what I was told by him, that he didn't have anything to do with the killing, that's what I told the investigators.
Okay. And when people are in jail, they do tend to brag a lot, don't they?
Some do and some don't. Usually the ones that are bragging, you know, they're just trying to show off. But the ones that are quiet and don't really talk about it a lot, they just talk about it a little, those are usually ones that you got to watch out for.
But that's just a generalization on your part, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a minute? No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Just a couple of them.
All right.
Now, when you talked to their investigator, you told them that you didn't think he did it?
Correct.
What do you mean by that exactly?
They asked me about the conversation that was had and between, you know, Zach and I, conversations that we had, and they said, well, do you think he done it? And I said, well, you know, according to what he said, no, I don't think he done it. And what little time I knew him, he didn't seem like he'd be capable of doing something like that.
According to what he said, which was, he told me he was involved in the Holly Bobo case. He said he was involved in the worst part of it, which you don't know. You've already testified you didn't know what that was.
Right.
And then he said his brother and the guy that hung himself, you don't know Shane Austin, do you?
No, sir.
Was involved in the rape, and they had sex with her and he said something went wrong, and he and his brother, the guy that hung himself, killed her, right?
Not, Zach didn't say that he and his brother killed her. He just said he had to help his brother. Something went bad wrong.
Okay.
No.
But he knew everything about the case.
Yes, sir, I guess. He didn't tell me everything, but I'm assuming he knows, what went on.
Okay. But it sounded like was he trying to minimize his involvement when he talked to you?
I mean, that's a good possibility, yeah.
And when he told you not to talk to anybody, you still took that as a threat, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you were concerned enough about him to feel threatened by that conversation after you left the jail, is that right?
Yeah.
Nothing further.
No, Your Honor.
All right, step down, you're free to go. Do not discuss your testimony. Call your next.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on behalf of the state of Tennessee, we rest our case in chief.
Okay. When they say we rest our case in chief, that simply means they finished their proof and their case in chief.
State rest.
As I told you at the outset, they have the burden of proof. The defendant is not required to prove his innocence or to prove anything, but they can present such proof as they wish or desire. We're going to take a 15-minute recess at this point, and then we'll continue.
Dana, this sounds like a great time. I think anybody in here would be on board.
Rape goes, Your Honor.
All right, so the state has rested their case. And again, we're watching this now in 2025, so not really much of a surprise. We knew that they were calling their last order of witnesses with these jailhouse snitches. And now we're going to see the defense. I don't know if they make any motions. We're going to see. We're going to see. Also, shout out to that ill kid Jay. I was going to say, I have not seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Joking here that you were summoned by the mention of the YSL trial. And he says, I plead the fifth.
We've heard testimony from Jason Autry as to the aggravated rape, but we have not heard any type of corroboration. And as far as criminal, evidence is insufficient to sustain a conviction.
So this sounds like a motion for directed verdict on the rape charge.
Solely based on the uncorroborated testimony of one.
What about the two other witnesses that said they heard Zach say words to the effect of hitting it, and then they used the word that is the street name for what hitting it was. You had two separate witnesses that said that.
Right. Well, we say that they were presuming what Zach meant by that, but he didn't specifically refer to rape. He just said hit it, and both those witnesses said that they presumed what he meant was sex with Holly, but that's not exactly what Zach said. So I say that that's not corroboration.
I think it's pretty clear from the context that that's what the reference was, or at least one that the jury could draw.
As far as the kidnapping, Your Honor, there's no evidence that she was forced to go anywhere. The description specifically was not that of Zach Adams, that Zach Adams at the time was tall, thin, had dark hair. He has dark hair. The person that was mentioned was approximately 200 pounds and had dark hair, length of the shoulder, and was between 5'7", I can't remember, something up to 6 feet tall. So I say that doesn't match the description of Mr. Adams.
Court's constrained to observe that I'm probably going to have to charge facilitation, which is my least favorite charge in our pattern instructions, but probably as to all offenses, I'll just go ahead. I'll keep an open mind, let the parties. And as far as forcible abduction, I think the finding of blood there, the description of what the brother saw, certainly supports that.
And as far as the murder, we have Jason Autry's testimony, but there's not corroboration from another source as to corroborate the homicide, Your Honor.
Corroboration, the cell phone guy was pretty direct in placing things at various places to corroborate the testimony of Mr. Autry. So your motion for judgment acquittal will be overruled as state count. State wish to add anything else?
It sounds as though the court's already made up mind, so I will not.
Well, okay. I don't even take a lot of notes, and I've got a lot of information, okay? Let's bring the jury in. All right, call your first witness for the defense, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Rita Austin.
Rita?
Rita
All
Austin.
right, Rita Austin. Okay, raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Is this Shane's
Yes, I
mom?
do.
Be seated, state your first, in the witness chair, state your first and last name, and spell it for the court reporter.
Rita Austin, Rita Austin.
And Miss Austin, are you related to Shane Kyle Austin?
Yes, Jimmy Austin and I, Rita Austin, have a son named Shane Kyle Austin.
Okay. And can you tell us, back in April of 2011, where was your son living?
Shane was living at 30 Yellow Springs Road in Holiday, Tennessee.
And where was that? What kind of residence was
It is
that?
a trailer about 2 miles away from our house at 790 Pew Road.
Can you speak up just a little because your voice is trailing off?
Okay.
Where do you live?
I lived at 790 Pew Road and Shane lived at 30 Yellow Springs Road, which is about 2 miles away.
Okay. And his residence, how did he come to live in that trailer? How did you come to own it?
Jimmy and I purchased this trailer to move him out of our house into his own residence.
Okay. And what about the items at the house?
Me and his dad.
Okay. And
I don't know how much that cut out. So, like, 30 seconds again seems to be cut out there.
okay. And what about the items at the house?
Me and his dad.
Okay. And so are you familiar with the items he had at that house?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So tell me about quilts that Shane would have had at that house. Can you tell the jury about that?
Shane wouldn't have had any quilts at that house. He moved in the last week of March of 2011. In his bedroom at my house at 790 Pew Road. He slept with an air conditioning running pretty much year round. So he did not have a quilt. And, all of my quilts are at home, and he got everything from our house. He didn't go out and buy anything. He didn't have any money to buy anything, so to speak.
Okay. And tell the jury about a burn barrel that would have been at that trailer.
Shane didn't have a burn barrel at his trailer. The way that we did his garbage, my son-in-law worked for a cooling tower company, and they brought a brute container that had a lock and top on it, and it was put at the foot of the trailer where that hitch lock is, and it was put right there and had a top on it. His neighbors had dogs, and so that was what we did. And we live in the country, rural country, and we don't have any garbage service. So me and my husband Jimmy would pick up his garbage when we took our garbage out and away.
Okay.
Which way am I supposed to look?
That's fine. Yes, look at the jury.
Okay,
And it's a balance with that microphone being too close, and it kind of gives a little bit of a puff too far away, and it's hard to hear.
Yep, okay, okay. If I'm not doing good, tell me.
Okay. And then let me direct your attention to the property, the driveway. Did the driveway have a gate?
No, the driveway did not have a gate at that time. We did put a gate and a fence up, and it was June of 2011 after we bought Shane a puppy.
Okay, and then it's another background matter. Would you tell the jury about your mother, Juanita Hickerson?
My mother is Juanita Hickerson. She passed away on March 11th of 2011. Shirley King, which is Jason's mother, is my sister. That was our mother, Juanita Hickerson, that passed away March of 2011.
And where was her property located?
Her property was 820 Yellow Springs Road, which was probably about a mile from Shane's trailer on Yellow Springs Road. If you were going to the interstate, it would be hooking around going toward Bible Hill Road.
Okay. Next, I'd like to switch topics and direct you towards Shane's appearance in the spring of 2011. Would you tell the jury what Shane looked like in the spring of 2011?
Shane had a motorcycle wreck in 2009, in April of 2009. He had some really bad scars on his face. He wrecked into a tree, and he wasn't wearing a helmet, And he was airlifted to Vanderbilt. And he had a scar kind of like right below. The wreck actually tore through this area. He had a lot of stitches into this area out to the corner of his mouth. So because of...
Can I interrupt you? When you say this area, I know you're pointing, but for the record, will you use words to describe that area?
Okay. It was a thick red raised scar. Thick red raised, not real well fixed because it was a accident that really mangled that area up on this part of his face. So most of the time, or pretty much, no, all of the time, he wore a goatee to try to help camouflage this. He was very self-conscious about that scar on his face.
And when you were pointing to where the scar was, you're pointing to here. Use a word to describe where here is.
Right up above the corner of his mouth, kind of out toward the cheek area. You know, it kind of went down and out to about right here. Went out toward the cheek and toward the jaw area, just halfway between the cheek and the chin area.
And what about his eye?
Oh, that was even worse. On this same wreck he had in April of 2009, it crushed his orbital socket, and it also crushed this bone right here in the nose area. So his nose was kind of flattened out, and this eye socket, and that also clipped a nerve in his eye. They repaired that the first night when we were at Vanderbilt. They repaired that tear in that tendon. But subsequently, he had 2 more surgeries on this eye trying to build enough tissue to hold the eye correctly in the socket. But it didn't ever get where it was okay. And what happened is when you looked at Shane, you'd see a defect. He had beautiful blue eyes, but it was defected. His eyelid hung down enough that you could see the white underneath his eye. You could see that all the time. And anybody that looked at him, that would be one of the first things that you noticed, is his eye wasn't right. I've even had a friend ask me...
No, I'm not touching yours, thing. Okay, it's not important with the friend side.
Okay.
Let me ask you about the goatee. You mentioned a goatee. Did he have a goatee in April of 2011?
Yes, we have some pictures that had that in it, yes.
Okay. Let me ask you about Shane's transportation, his truck. In April, around April the 13th of 2011, what kind of transportation did Shane have?
Shane didn't have any working transportation. He had a truck parked behind his house, and if you could ever believe this story, it's another last week of March of 2011. Shane had a Chevy S10 truck. He was coming home from 641 going toward his house at 30 Yellow Springs Road. He lost control. He spun the truck around and slammed into a telephone pole. That messed the whole frame of the truck up. It drove the passenger side, and at the bed of the truck, it hit between the passenger and the tailgate. Drove that chair on the passenger side all the way in to the console on the passenger side. Because he hit that like that, the top of the telephone pole broke in half and hit the top of the cab and messed the cab up. They got the truck off of the telephone pole, and it was like it was driving sideways down the road. He got it over to his trailer, parked it behind his trailer, and that's where the truck was. People searching for...
Well, let me,
okay.
Before we get to that,
okay.
About the truck, how do you know, though, that since it didn't drive well, but it could move, how do you know that he wasn't driving it at that time?
We took the keys away from him. Shane wasn't in a good place. and that truck drove sideways, and it was dangerous for him to get out in that truck that wouldn't drive. So we had a set to, and we took the keys away. And we also had an FBI agent visit us during that time, and I went into the safe in our room and produced that set of keys for him to see.
Okay, and so did Shane have access to your house during this time?
He never had keys to my house. He didn't have keys to any of our vehicles. He did not even have a key to the door. Like I said, people that are not in good places don't have access to, he never. From the time he was 16 years old, we bought vehicles that didn't require major, they just required insurance on them, and all this was
Okay,
insurance. Okay.
I'm going to object to relevance. This was 10 years after.
I think it was volunteered, but
Understand.
He didn't drive any of our vehicles.
Okay.
Ms. Thompson, listen to the questions, make your response. If you feel you need to explain, you're allowed to do so, but listen to the questions, just respond, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about Yellow Springs Church. Can you please tell the jury about Yellow Springs United Methodist Church? Where is it located?
Yellow Springs Church is on Yellow Springs Road. It's set right in the corner. Pew Road comes up, and Yellow Springs Church is right in the corner of that road.
Okay.
Well, if you come up the hill, you would be at Yellow Springs Church. One road goes one way. It's in the corner of Pew Road and Yellow Springs Road.
Okay, and did anything in particular take place at Yellow Springs Church on Thursday, April the 14th?
Yes, it did. I went to pick up Shane to take him to work at 2:30 in the afternoon on the 14th. And when I started coming up the hill, there were cars everywhere. There were school buses there. And they had set up a command search post for Holly Bobo.
Okay. I'd like to move on then to your nephew, Jason Autry. Can you tell me about Jason's paternal grandmother?
Paternal Yes. Jason, his grandmother is Sudie Autry.
Say that again.
Sudie, S-U-D-I-E, Autry.
Okay.
She is a sister to Ruby Bobo.
Okay.
Gary's daddy and Dana Bobo are first cousins. So,
How would that make him related to Holly Bobo then?
third cousins. She'd be a second cousin to Gary and a third cousin to Jason.
Okay, and would Jason have known this information?
Yes, he would.
I'm going to
Yes, he would.
I'm going to object to speculation unless she absolutely knows that he knows. I mean, that's,
Okay.
Okay, well, I absolutely know that he knows.
Okay. And then, have you visited Jason Autry since he's been charged in this case?
We began, I don't know for sure if he was charged in this case, but he was in jail in Decatur County, and we went to visit him every week. Some of our family, it not be me every time, but every week we went to see him at the jail. Sometimes we'd even take Isabel Hickerson, his great aunt.
Okay, and then after that, did you continue to see him once he went to Nashville?
He got transferred first to Dyersburg, and Jason told us that he didn't think that he would be there very long. And then he got transferred to River Bend, and then we began to visit him at River Bend Prison. And we did, when we got approved for a visit, we went.
Okay, and then while there, was there anything in particular that you took note of while you would visit Jason?
One time when we visited Jason, he had a copy of a report about some pink underwear. And I was elated. He stuck it up on the window, and I was elated that he had this report because it said none of the...
objection.
Okay.
Okay, so...
I don't think it's really an issue. We've had other testimony, so let's
Right.
kind of get to...
Okay, but that was some evidence in this case?
Yes, it was.
And were there other times that he shared evidence in this case with you?
Only that same time, he told us that she had been shot. And he...
I'm going to object to what he told her. It's hearsay. I'm not objecting to what she said or saw or witnessed, like the report.
What Jason said to her hearsay.
But Your Honor, I'm not trying to offer it for the truth of the matter, I'm trying to offer it to show that Jason had knowledge, that he was in possession of discovery in this case. I'd asked Jason specifically, and he had denied some of that. And so this is some impeachment. One, it's impeachment, and two, it goes to show his knowledge, not whether or not it's true. I'm not offering it for the truth of what was said.
I think that's exactly what he testified to here, but go ahead and answer.
Okay, so
Have a good one, Dana.
He
Thanks
told
for
us
hanging
that
out.
she had been shot through the back of the head and the bullet come out on the right side, right under her right eye. He said at the scene there was 3 bullet casings, a .308, a .380, and a
I can't
.410.
tell far enough,
Okay.
you know, what discovery he shared with them.
Okay.
We can spend the rest of the afternoon, probably. It just shows he's got discovery through his attorneys. That's the only thing that shows. Okay,
yes.
let's go.
And so the Greenway under the Interstate 40 bridge, have you ever been there?
Yes, we walk our dogs at different places. The river and under this Tennessee River Bridge is very beautiful area.
And how would you describe that area?
It's a national refuge, and you come in a one-lane road into the refuge area, and you drive around a body of water, and then you go over a body of water that's called tie yard. I don't know if you're a fisherman, but that's tie yard. And then you go on following the road, and you go out to the main channel of the river, and that's the river bank where we walked most of the time with our dogs.
Okay, and this tie yard, what's the water like there in the tie yard?
Well, we didn't walk near, you have to cross over this, okay? There's a spillway, and you have to cross over it to go on into the river. But it's grown up, it's got big rip-rappy rocks around it, and it's all grown up, except a little place where you can pull in and people fish there. They go in there and fish. It's a really good fishing area. And even Shane and Jimmy fish there. It's not even, so that water is backwater. Wet backwater, dark, dank looking water. It's not fresh water.
Okay. And then we've heard some talk about Shane and Shane's suicide. Can you please tell the jury kind of some of the surrounding facts regarding Shane's suicide? But let's start with his drug issues.
In February 23rd, 2015, Shane took his life. He was down in Florida trying to work and get his life straight. He was working on cooling towers. He began using drugs again. He was making $1,500 a week. And when we got his bank account, he didn't have but $200. So he was using a lot of drugs. And my son-in-law was his boss, and he fired him on Tuesday. He'd give him all kinds of chances trying to help him. And on Tuesday, he fired him. And Josh was going to bring him to the airport on Saturday. And Shane was so messed up at the airport that he didn't get on the plane with his plane ticket that we purchased. And so when he called us, before he lost his phone, he called us very messed up, very...
And I don't want you to say what he said to you when he called you, but kind of what happened after that?
Shane went back to the hotel where they had been staying, and he was mad. He was mad at Josh. He kind of kicked in some of the air conditioning stuff. The hotel man was called to do something with him, and Josh begged him to take him to jail. He said, please just take him to jail. And the man wouldn't do it. Shane had been down there for a month or more working and renting, and he said he would not press charges. So Josh loaded him up and took him to another motel and paid for it and told him to get in there and stay in there. And then we were in the process of going to rescue him, and we got down there and he was dead. He was in his room locked in, and he was dead.
Okay. But he had a long struggle with drugs, is that right?
Absolutely. A long struggle with drugs.
And his struggle with drugs, did that begin before or after Holly Bobo disappeared?
No, it didn't begin just when she disappeared. He's had a history since he was 16 years old in high school, on and off. He got clean, and we had 8 good months before he went to work with Josh. And then when he went to work, I said he does really well if you don't have any money, but he went to work with him, and he got a hold of money, and he started right back using again.
Okay.
Okay.
If I could have just one moment.
Jake's material, please.
I don't have any written reports.
Jennifer Nichols, I spoke to you in the hall, but I'm
Right.
not sure if you knew her.
Right.
Listening to you talk about Shane, it's fair to say that this drug problem had very much affected yours and Mr. Austin's life.
Absolutely.
And in fact, do you remember how it disappeared when Karen and Dana?
I surely do.
Anthony
I surely do.
came to your house to talk
Yes.
about it?
We let him in, just,
And you know, by that time, Shane's name was already out there.
Yes, it was.
As being a suspect in this.
yes, it was.
And you told Karen that you had to move, you had to buy that trailer and move him into that trailer because of the people and the drugs that he was bringing into your house.
Exactly.
And that's not the way you raised him.
No, no, he had a silver spoon in his mouth.
So to get that element, those people that you didn't approve of, and those drugs out of your house, you bought that trailer.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and clarify that. I didn't speak about his friends that did drugs. I said we had to get Shane out of our house and get the drugs out of our house.
So you weren't worried about the people he was hanging around with?
Really, he didn't bring those people to my house.
Okay, well, that sort of carries me to my next one. Now,
Okay.
you said he doesn't have a burn barrel. It sounded like he didn't have access to a burn barrel. But you have to agree with me that Shane.
Why are we doing this with the mic?
Back off just a minute.
Okay, sure.
Shane kept things from you and your husband.
He kept things, but we went over there to get his garbage, just like we did ours, and
So that's a yes with an explanation. Yes, he kept things from you, but yes, you believe you would have seen the burn barrel.
I know I would have seen a burn barrel.
You would have seen that burn barrel if the burn barrel had been in the front yard in front of the trailer.
I would have seen the burn barrel.
Would you have seen the meth in his house?
I saw it at my house, so sure I would have.
Would you have seen him cooking it?
No, he didn't cook it to my knowledge in my house.
So if he did cook it, that's something he didn't do in front of you.
That is right. He did not cook meth in front of me.
You know that he was hanging out with Zachary Adams, right?
Yes, I do.
You know that he was hanging out with Zachary Adams' brother.
Yes, I do.
In fact, he was particularly close to Dylan Adams.
I think he liked Dylan Adams, yes.
And when all this happened and Shane's name got out there, you and your husband took measures to try and help him, right? As any parent would.
Absolutely. We got concerned about this.
I mean, your son was a suspect in the kidnapping.
Absolutely. And he was a suspect, sure.
Your son was a suspect in the kidnapping, the rape, and the murder of Holly Bobo.
Now, when we first was acknowledged, it wasn't rape and murder. It was in her kidnapping. We knew it from the time that his name was associated with the kidnapping. Now, this rape and murder stuff came later, but we was well aware that his name was.
And I'm not trying to trick you. Because
Okay.
as the case progressed, you did know that Shane was a suspect in both the rape and the murder, just like he was in the kidnapping.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I mean. I'm not trying to trick you.
No, I just want to be as honest as I can be. I want this to be done.
And you and your husband got an attorney for him, didn't you?
We didn't get an attorney until 2014.
And my question was, you and your husband got an attorney for him?
Not till 2014.
Didn't ask when.
Well, that's too bad.
Really?
Really?
Okay, so you and your husband got an attorney, didn't you?
Yes, in
There you go.
2014.
And his name is Luke Evans, correct?
That is right.
He's a family member of y'all's, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Luke Evans negotiated with the DA at the time assigned that case.
Yes.
I'm going to object unless she has specific knowledge.
Sorry, she just said yes, so.
And in fact, there were times when you were present at those meetings, correct?
I was never present with Luke Evans and Shane Austin in any kind of discussions. Never.
Did you become aware that your son provided information to the district attorney's office about, let me finish, about the kidnapping, the rape, and the murder of Holly Bobo?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. May we approach?
Become aware that your son provided information to the district attorney's office regarding the kidnapping, rape, and murder of Holly Bobo.
I know that Shane and his lawyer had a meeting with the district attorney's office. What information he provided, I don't know.
You recognize his handwriting, though, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I'll hand you a document. That's your son's handwriting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to ask you to review, but don't read aloud. It's Shane's writing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Have you ever seen this piece of paper before?
No, I have not.
Did you ever discuss these things with your son?
No, he had told me from day one.
Sorry, hearsay.
No, he did not. He didn't ever say that he knew anything about this case to me.
And yet you just read 5 things in his handwriting that show you otherwise. Didn't it?
Well, it doesn't show. I mean, you have to know what the questions was on that. You have to know the situation before you know he.
You don't want to answer that question, do you, Ms. Olson?
Well, why don't you clarify where that was at and how he said he knew these things? Is that what you're saying, that he knew these things?
It's his handwriting, isn't it?
Did it say he knew those things?
Your Honor, I object. Her question is confusing.
That document is hearsay, so let's move on.
Okay,
His writing, right?
absolutely.
At the time of Shane's death, you very honestly told the jury that he was in a bad place.
Right.
That's not the first time he'd been in a bad place, though.
No, it was not.
And you said that it had been off and on since he was 16.
That's right.
Would you agree with me that Holly abduction and rape and murder haunted him?
No,
Let her answer the question.
no, I would not say it did because he vehemently said he knew nothing about it and he knew nothing about that. That's why we didn't hire a lawyer till 2014. He says he's innocent of all this, and I believe that.
And so that's what he told you.
That's right.
And yet I just shared with you a document in his handwriting, not going to get into what's in it, but you see something different, don't you?
I see,
Yes or no?
I see,
Your Honor, I object to this.
She is entitled to a yes or no answer, and then if she wants to explain.
okay, well, I'm going to say no then because I want
Does that
to,
change anything for you?
I want to say no because you haven't told me where he made those statements or where he wrote those statements. You don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell everybody what the statement says. Just tell me, it was this, I confessed to this? I mean, did he confess to that? I mean, you have to tell me the contents of what's on that paper. Not the content, so to speak, but the situation involved with those statements.
May I please see the document that District Attorney was?
She has it, Judge.
Well, I don't know
It
specifically.
was recited in Decatur County one
Yes.
time, is what I'm thinking.
It is.
And it's hearsay at this point.
Look at
And for
her.
the record, Your Honor, we actually got it from defense counsel of Shane Austin at that time, so I have it.
Those are facts on evidence, Your Honor.
Yeah, what?
She's arguing facts on evidence.
Yeah, like that was inappropriate. Judge tries to make a ruling saying it's hearsay, and then in the presence of the jury still, we have that yapping.
I'm not arguing about what's written.
Let's get over this.
You remember after Holly disappeared that the searches and whatnot were all up and down that road, right?
Yes, I do.
Most people's property that lived all around there, people were going through it, right?
Yes.
Including Shane's, the property surrounding Shane's trailer.
Now, I know that the searchers were on every road around us, so yes, I would say yes. I know that Shane's property was specifically searched on the 17th of April with a dog team present.
And TBI sort of moved on, but they came back and started asking questions again a few years later. about
Yes,
that, correct?
yes.
And it was at that time that your husband painted inside, outside of that trailer with lead paint, right?
The outside is not painted with lead paint. We didn't touch that trailer until 2014. We decided that we may have to sell that to get money to defend him when it came back that they were starting to look at him again. And we decided at that point, we probably better be getting a lawyer. Up until that point, we thought, we don't need to get a lawyer.
Shane went to the coon hunt Saturday before Holly's disappearance, didn't he?
Well, I didn't take him there. I did not take him there, and I did not see him there, and I worked that morning in the fish booth.
But you know he admitted to being there at the coon hunt.
Okay.
Objection, she doesn't have.
I don't have proof that he went. I didn't see him there.
So doing the drugs, cooking the meth, going to the coon hunt, there are a lot of things that you didn't know about his life.
Yes, that's correct.
The night before Holly was kidnapped, you took Shane to the Double D to play cards and have some beers with his friends?
Yes, Shane didn't drive anywhere, and we took him there every week to play cards. They played Texas Hold'em on Wednesday night. My husband was working that night, and he ended up picking him up on the way home. And yes, I did.
And you said on the day that she disappeared, you picked him up from his trailer at 2:30 in the afternoon?
No, that was Thursday.
That's the day after?
The day after.
The day that the church, I think you
Yes,
said
that's the day after. She disappeared on Wednesday, and I took him to cards that night at, I would say, 6 o'clock, between 6 and 6:30. I think I made him a hamburger, took that to him, and he ate it, and I took him on down to the bar.
Okay, just one moment.
Sure.
You were asked a number of questions about your sort of relatives and whatnot. Your mother had a barn across the street from the house, right?
Yes.
In that
Yes,
barn?
she did.
And in 2011, that barn was in pretty bad shape, wasn't it?
Yes, it was standing, but it was not in great shape, no.
About 2014, 15, it was gone.
I think actually in 2013,
So by 2014 or 15, it was gone.
yes, sorry.
It was 2014 when things started heating back up. You said you painted the trailer because they were coming back around asking Shane questions and asking everybody questions about Shane.
Right.
That's not what she said.
2014 is, actually, we didn't touch that trailer until 2014. That sat there with Shane living in it on and off. And 2014, we decided that I'm probably going to have some money to pay for a lawyer.
Do you remember if that was at the first part of 2014 or the last part?
It was at the first part of 2014 that we started work on the trailer, and I think we didn't get a lawyer for Shane until like April or May of 2014, somewhere, I think April, but I'm not positive of that date.
And so sometime after you got that lawyer, though you weren't present, you know there were meetings between the lawyer, who's actually
He only had one meeting with the lawyer. Shane flew in from he flew in from Scranton, Pennsylvania. We picked him up at the airport, and we took him to Luke Evans's office, and that was the only time that I know that he met with Luke Evans.
You picked him up and took him there, but you just didn't go in.
We weren't allowed to. They were TBI edges. Okay.
And there was law enforcement present, correct?
There were TBI agents there,
That's what I
okay?
mean by local.
Okay, TBI agents. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not real familiar with this
You're
stuff.
doing
so-
fine. So, do you remember, was that in April or May, or was that after this meeting?
You probably have a copy of that agreement. I do not know the exact date that was made. I want to say March. He left going on a job, and they was calling him on the telephone before. Well, I tell you what. Do you know which day that was that they searched that property out at Dick Adams' house that last time?
Was it close in time to that?
Yeah, and the reason it being, it snowed and it froze everything up. And Shane told the TBI agents, hey, I'm leaving out on Monday to go to work.
You can't say what
Okay,
he said.
okay.
So it was, my question was, it was close in time to the search at Dick Adams?
It was after the search at Dick Adams.
And you're saying Dick Adams, Zach Adams has a house there too, is the top, right?
Dick and Zach have a house side by side.
All right, so is it fair to say that from the time you were concerned enough to get your trailer ready to maybe sell, get him a lawyer, that the heat was never off between that time in 2014 and when your son took his life in February of 2015?
I would say that they were question. Yeah, I would get. Let's see. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
In other words, they
Repeat that. Repeat that,
From
please.
that time forward until your son took his life,
Okay.
TBI was still interested in not only Shane, but in Zach Adams, fellow looking at me, and Dylan Adams, and Jason Autry.
Well, I can't answer what they were looking at with them, but after Shane did his immunity agreement, they said they were going to arrest him. They didn't come and arrest him, and after that immunity agreement, they left him alone.
I mean, after they said they were going to arrest him?
Yeah, on the television. It was on the television saying that they would give us notice when they come to arrest him. Oh, okay. Okay,
And then
but they didn't come.
the drug usage got worse, correct?
No, actually, for the last part of 2014, he went away to work. And then,
Got worse.
and then when he went back at Christmas of let me get that right. When he come in at Christmas, I suspected he was using drugs. But he left again in January, going back to Tampa, Florida to work. And we hoped when he got back to work that he would be okay. But he started using again in November of 2014.
That's when you started suspecting it.
Right, well, that was when I thought, so, yes.
So my question was, and the drug use got worse at the end of 2014 until the time?
And beginning in 2015, I would say it's escalated, yes.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Okay.
Further direct.
No, Your Honor.
All right, step down. Please don't discuss your testimony with anyone.
Okay.
How are you next?
She can stay in the courtroom, right?
If you want, yeah. Yes.
So what stands out to me about that is another reason to believe that Jason Autry, star witness, had access to this discovery file, was able to put all the details together, had time to rehearse or learn what to repeat, whatever word we want to use.
We'd like to call Judy Evans.
Raise your right hand, please. So swear the testimony you're about to give, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Be seated, state your first and last name, and spell your name for the court reporter.
Judy Evans, Judyevans.
And Ms. Evans, how are you related to Shane Kyle Austin?
Shane is my nephew, Rita is my sister.
Okay, and are you also related to Jason Autry?
Yes, Shirley King is also my sister, so they're both my nephews.
Okay. Can we talk about your mother's property at 820 Yellow Springs Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who owns that property now?
I do.
Okay, and who owned it in April of 2011?
In April, I'll just start back with the situation. My mother passed away in March of 2011, and there were 4 of us. I've got another sister too, and we were all supposed to share the estate equally. So we got together, and it was decided that they got other things, and I wanted to buy the house and the acreage that was across the road, okay? And so at that time, I was getting a loan to buy their part of it. There was some money that I'd had to pay them to buy them out of that property. So I had been to the bank, and there was a loan in process for me to get the money to give to them to get it over into my name. So
Okay.
that was the deal on that.
Okay, and at that time, did you have any involvement in the property? April 13th, on April 13th?
I did,
2011?
yeah. My horses, I've got 2 horses, and they had been over there, I don't know how many years, but several. I kept them over there. I rode horses at one time, and I would go over there every afternoon because no one was living there anymore. My mother died, so I didn't move. There was a reason I didn't move. I wasn't ready to, right? I had to get the money to get the place, and also I was going on a vacation. I was going to Mount Everest, so I was not going to move until I made that trip. So that was going to happen sometime later on in the summer. So I didn't move, but I did go over there and check on the horses and feed them every day, usually, sometimes after school or before dark at different times. But I would go over there and feed them.
And were you there on April the 13th, 2011?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the property and the buildings that are on the property?
Okay, well, there's a house, of course, that's on, if you're going, I don't know which side of the road it would be on. If you're coming from the church, the house is on the left side, and on the right side is the pastures, okay? And over there was, at that time, 2 buildings, okay? One building that was by the road was a tractor shed, sort of. It was. My father backed his tractor up underneath it. And then on that same shed, the tractor shed, there was like 2 stalls. That's where the horses would go in and eat. And if I kept the feed in that little room that was right there where they went in. So that was one of the buildings. The other building was a big building that sat, you could see it from the road, and it was in really bad shape. And it was, some people call it a barn, but what it was at one point, probably back in the 70s, my father raised pigs. And so that building was made to hold corn. So it was just a corn crib, okay? I don't know if y'all know what that is, but that's just a big building that's made out of wood, and it would there was 2 holes cut out in the top where you could put a grain elevator in there, and you could scoop the corn onto the grain elevator and get it over into that. So that it didn't have any partitions in it or anything. It was just, if you looked into it, there was 2 doors, and you just see in there. It was just wide open. There was not anything that you couldn't see if you opened that door, or either of the doors. It would show you the same thing. You just look in, and everything that was in there, you would be able to see. So.
Okay, what kind of condition was it in?
It was in really bad condition. I don't know when he stopped raising hogs. I don't remember. I went in the military in 1982, and I don't know after that when exactly he stopped. But in 2011, it wasn't in good shape because nothing had ever been put back in it. I think when he quit raising hogs, he didn't do anything else with that. And I don't know that he could have, because it was raised up. The floor was made of wood, and it was raised up just a little bit like that, I guess, where the corn wouldn't be right on the ground or something like that. But anyway, and the tin had come off the top of it. Rain had went into it all those years and rotted out a lot of the spots on the floor. And also there was a tree growing up through there. So it really wasn't in good shape at all, but it was standing there in April of 2011.
Okay, and at some point you heard about Holly Bobo disappearing.
I did.
Okay, and did you ever search this property?
Yes, I did. And that would have been on Friday, and I guess that would be April the 15th. Friday, I work as a school teacher, and the director of schools let students go search if they wanted to. And that day, I also guess that I heard it on the radio or maybe the news or something, that the law enforcement was asking people to go look on their property. So I said, yeah, well, I'll do that, sure. And so that afternoon, I went over there, and actually, I called my sister. I said, I'm going over. I called it my mother's place. I'm going over to Mama's, and I want to look over there. And she said, well, I'll go, so I'll just meet you. So we went.
Which sister is this?
That's Rita Austin, yes.
Okay.
And so we went over there. She met me there, and we went into the house, and nothing was disturbed in there. It was just like it was the last time I opened the door on it. And then we come on the outside, and we're getting ready to go across the road over there where all those buildings were, or those 2, not all, sorry. The 2 buildings are. We were going to cross the street, and I looked up the road toward Hoheimer Road, and there were people coming, and those were the searchers. There were a lot of people searching, I guess just out, I guess they were organized searches. I don't know. I remember there were just a lot of people, okay, and they were over in the field, and some people were in the road, and then others were on the side of the road where my house was, walking, toward where we were. They were looking. And so they come on, and I stood there. You can see everything across the road from the edge of the driveway. I was standing there, and I watched and actually spoke to some of them. I recognized some of the people that were out there. And they looked inside that corn crib / barn, and there were two people that opened both of the doors, and they looked in and shut it back, and they just carried on. And that was that. They also looked in there where the horse feed was, and I guess they walked around in front of the tractor to see that too. I don't remember that, but I'm sure they did that. And then they went on down the road toward the Yellow Springs Church, and then she and I went over there, and I threw the horses some feed, and then we walked over there to that corn crib. I opened up the doors and looked in, and I didn't see anything either. It looked exactly like it always did. I mean, it was falling down. It was the same thing. I didn't notice anything disturbed in there. And then we shut it back, and that was it. And then I guess I went home after that.
Now, if somebody had been screaming in the corn crib, would you have been able to hear them from the street?
Yeah, you would, yes.
Okay. And do you know who Jason Autry's paternal grandmother is?
Yes, ma'am, Miss Sudie Autry.
And do you know how she is related to the Bobos?
I do. She's related to Miss, I think her name's Ruby Bobo. I think they're sisters.
Okay, and do you know who Ruby Bobo is related to?
Well, it'd be Dana's mother, I guess.
Okay. And did Jason spend much time with his paternal grandmother growing up?
Yes, he did. A lot of time with her, yeah.
Okay, going back to the corn crib, what happened to that corn crib?
Okay, what happened to that? I guess it would be in the last part of 2011, or I'm sorry, in the last part of 2012 and early 2013, my husband tore it down, okay? He looked at it. We didn't have a barn at that time, and he was going to build something, so there was nothing that could be done to that. It was in such bad shape that he just decided that he would take it down and keep what was useful, the stuff that could be reused, he would keep it. So he separated out the tin and some wood and stuff that was good and usable, and the rest of it, he just knocked it down with a backhoe and then dug a hole in the ground and pushed that stuff in it, set it on fire, and then when the fire went out, he covered it up. And then with that material, he built another barn, which is out there now that you can see from the road also. So
okay,
that's what happened to that.
No further questions.
Thank you.
You're the heel.
We talked so much about this whole corn.
Hey, I know, right?
It was in bad shape and falling down.
Yeah.
And you can actually get to the corn crib through the woods behind it, correct?
In a car, or how are you talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
In a car?
It's possible in a car through those woods back way into to the corn crib.
Okay, I'm confused.
It's possible to get a car back through the woods to the back of the corn crib.
Well, if you came off of the road, you would be driving just through there was a road there, sort of, that had grown up with grass, and you would drive to that. And I guess you could pull back. Are you asking me, can you pull behind it?
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't understand. There is woods behind it. That's why I was getting confused. I don't know if you could drive from the woods. There's a set of woods that's behind that. I didn't understand the question, but yes, I suppose you could drive.
Back there to the
Right.
the corn crib going through the back. You said you thought you'd be able to hear somebody screaming if they were in the corn crib, screaming from the street.
Right.
Would you agree that depends on a lot of different things, doesn't it?
Well, like what, I
Like if
guess?
there's other noises out there, like a loud lawnmower.
Okay, right.
Agree?
Yeah, sure.
Like if she was drugged, restrained, and unable to scream as she was being raped in that old corn crib. Right?
You're saying if she was, if, I suppose so.
Because
Right.
standing there at the street from your mom's house, or standing there, you think you'd be able to hear, but you can't see into that corn crib at all, can you?
No, not from the road, no.
Doors shut, it's a private place, right?
It would be,
On the
right.
edge of the woods that you can get to in the back
No, you can't get to it from the back.
from the side.
You would have to, park behind it, I guess. I don't know.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, because there is woods behind it. You would not be able to drive your vehicle out from the woods to get to that. You would have to come in from the road is what I think that's what you asked, or did you ask and you come through the woods?
After that corn crib with the car,
Yes. Okay.
you'd be far off the road at that point.
Well, it would be basically the same distance, I guess. You would just be behind it. Yeah.
Behind it hidden.
Right.
And this road we're talking about, this road that you knew the searcher searched, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you know where stuff was found there?
Which road are you talking about?
By your mother's.
The Yellow Springs Road? I had heard that, but I never did know if that was true or not. I've heard a lot of things. Okay.
Did you know where stuff was found within 75 yards of Shane Austin's house?
No, I didn't.
Nothing that you
When you went over to the property on the 15th of April, did you notice any tire tracks behind the corn crib?
No.
No further questions.
Done. All right, step down. Don't discuss your testimony with anyone. If you want to return to the courtroom, you can do so. It's up to you, okay?
Thank you.
Call your name.
That's our last witness, Your Honor.
All right, we'll break a little early. We started a little early. Do what?
This is court today.
Okay. I understood, okay?
It is 5:23 in the court when he's waiting for another witness now that the defense is putting on their case in chief. But okay.
Once again, all the admonitions I gave you. Put this matter out of your mind. Don't form or express any opinion. No conversation with anyone, not even among yourselves. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case with you or in your presence. Continue to avoid all news reports, and hope you have a good evening as you can. We'll begin at 8:30 in the morning, okay? That work all right for everybody? It's not quite hot right now either, so, all right, thank you.
All right, so that is a wrap for day 7. So we'll get back together tomorrow for day 8. Day 8 looks like Terry Dicus and Art Viveros. So I think that'll be a good time. The trial was 9 days. So depending on how much time day 8 takes, maybe we'll start day 9 tomorrow. If not, Wednesday, day 9. And of course, we can jump right to the verdict reading and sentencing since no deliberations needed now. This happened in 2017. What do we got though? So I see everybody who was here all day. If you might be interested in Brian Walsh, it looks like everybody that's doing Brian Walsh started hours ago already. So I saw Emily D. Baker, Melanie Little, Defense Diaries. A ton of channels are covering Brian Walsh. Classy covered it a little bit while covering some other topics as well. But I'm seeing Justice Served TV is going to have Misdemeanor, a smaller creator who's growing, and I like her a lot, covering a lot of cases. She's going to be guesting to speak with Justice Served TV about day 1 in Brian Walsh. So I think I'll set the redirect for that, but if you guys want to shout out somewhere else, that's cool too. I almost redirected to Dolly, but Dolly's actually going live tomorrow to talk about a prison, jail, don't even know which one, biting assault case. So that's going to be interesting. I enjoyed the last jail assault case we watched over there. You guys might have seen me play this little clip. Please tell me I still have it. Yeah, so great clip on prosecutors prepping witnesses for testimony. Saw this over on Dolly Talks channel.
And you said it's been so long since you saw the video.
No, I just seen a video the other day.
Who showed you the video?
Prosecuting attorney. That's how I know what to say today, because I just saying what I got on camera. That's the only thing I did.
I got you.
So great little clip there about how witnesses learn what to say. And also featuring hella excited utterance in that clip. Love them both. So that it will be tomorrow. I was going to send us over there today, but I had the date wrong. So I think Justice Served TV is the next channel I see starting up. If you guys followed the Meg Thee Stallion Milagro Graham civil trial, that has a verdict. So jury found Milagro Grahams liable on all counts, but they also deemed Milagro Grahams media, which is going to have some implications for the judge to consider potentially setting aside some of the judgment, maybe arguing upwards on appeal. I believe the reason being that when you're officially deemed media, you got to ask if there's something that's incorrect. You have certain protections where the person who says, hey, this thing's incorrect, you need to request a retraction. And if that's the case, there might be some issues with some of the judgments. Not exactly sure how that will play out. I don't really have much expertise in that area, and I think it's a bit of a new frontier as we deal with YouTube creators and bloggers taking a more direct approach, reporting from their own sources, which is more of a media or journalistic approach, but then at the same time, they're also commentators, and they're kind of in this new frontier. So I think it's an interesting legal issue. That is a Florida case. So that will be interesting. Pam Esquire covered that. Let me get her channel link real quick. She did a quick update from outside the courthouse, but maybe she'll go live later today to talk about the significance of that judgment. And then that's what I've got. I also see we have a birthday in the building, Big Dog Fluff. Happy birthday to you. Hope it's been an awesome one. Got some birthday wishes going on here in the chat. Hope you had an amazing day and celebrate tomorrow. If you come back in here, since we're finding out late, we can celebrate tomorrow to make up for it. So we'll celebrate all morning tomorrow as well. So big happy birthday to Big Dog Fluff. Free Zachary Anderson. I'm telling you, man, there's something with the ZA acronym initials being named Zach in Tennessee. It's not a good recipe. Not a good recipe in the justice system. And then, yeah, let's see. I think that's it. So let's get over. This is going to redirect to Justice Serve TV, but they're not starting for about an hour. But hit that notification button and come hang out if you want to learn about what happened at day 1 in the Brian Walsh trial. Other than that, see you tomorrow for day 8. Bye, guys, and thank you so much.